It's time for a What's Up with Nora. Ooh, what's up with that? Ooh, what's up with Nora? Ooh, what's up with that?
No. Well.
What is up, everybody? Welcome back. Welcome back. My headphone is falling out. Welcome back to the Gay Raj. Did I see, as I'm waiting for my theme song to finish playing, did I see Miss Ree, as in Ree's connecting in the chat? Do my eyes deceive me? Hello, my friend. Hello. Actually, I was just thinking about emailing you, Ree. That is funny that you are here, and thank you. Thank you for being here. I think about you often, my friend. Hang on. My fan is... And it is hot. Who's the lady in my intro? Who's the lady? Oh, it was just like a TikTok meme. I don't know her name. She's done a lot of different stuff. It's funny. I was like, who's the lady in my intro? Okay, guys. So we are going to start our journey. Sorry. I'm actually responding to my therapist right now because, yeah. I sent my therapist, guys, to a copy of Jamie's Soft White Underbelly interview just to be like, here's a thing that you should watch. She's like, oh my God. I was like, yeah, buckle up, Buttercup. Buckle up. How hot is it in Oregon? Well, Vernon, today is actually a little bit cooler, but like the garage gets hotter. So we're down in the 70s instead of the high 80s. But tomorrow we're going to flip that switch and go right back to the fucking 90s. So gross. Thank you for becoming a member, 808. Look at, we got all this action. Thanks, JB808. Thanks for becoming a member. At the end of this month, what I'm thinking about doing, I'm going to set it up. I have to confer with Reese, who is the expert apparently in this area. But members, hear me now. And mods, we should have talked about this. I knew there was something else I wanted to talk to my mod squad about. Is that at the end of this month, we're going to do a Zoom call. You guys don't have to moderate that. It's going to be on Zoom. People are going to get to say what they want. I guess I could just throw people out of the Zoom if they are jerks. I don't know how that works. But anyway, I'm going to set up a Zoom call for all members, and then we'll do different things for different tiers. But for the very first Zoom call, everybody who's a member is invited to come to the Zoom call. I'm going to put that invitation out in a members only post here coming up this week, and we're going to do it at the end of the month after Jamie's book premieres. So if you guys get your pre-ordered copy, we can all talk about that and ask all kinds of fun questions, whatever you want. All right. So, yeah, that's going to be coming up. That is going to be coming up. Also, just for further announcements, announcing we have a brand new moderator in addition to Rox and Joe and Stacy and No Time for BS, who's not here, but that's okay. We have Gen X Biatch. Everyone, warm round of applause for Gen X Biatch. Thank you so much. Who has, graciously volunteered to distribute onto this sinking ship while it's still here. And we are grateful to have her. We're grateful to have her. So you're going to see her. Don't be nice. Be nice. Be nice. Be kind. Did I lose? So I lose subscribers every day, honey. And that's okay. Subscribers are like, pimples. They appear and then they go away. And the people who have been here the longest, y'all are here and I love you. And thank you for tuning in always. Anytime I say something, that doesn't match whatever, and, people decide to leave. And guess what? That's okay. This is not a cult. You are free to leave the building anytime you want. You're free to disagree with me. You're free to agree with me. You're free to hate me, love me, whatever. Okay? The only rules, I'm just going to reiterate that. The only real rule that I have is don't be a dick. Don't be a dick. Okay? Like, yeah. Be kind to the other people in chat. Ask, you're not a pimple. Thank you, Lady Jane out. Thank you. You're more of a freckle. People who stick around, they're freckles. I love you too. Oh, thank you, Donna. Thank you, Jennifer, for being here for 5 months. Appreciate you. Yes. Yeah. Like this. Like me. Please like me. Or at least like the live. You know. Yeah. What's up, Brian? Good to see you. So, yeah. If you want to become a member, the memberships are there. My mods will drop that. I'm cheap. I'm a cheap date. I never change the prices. I think the lowest level is still 99 cents. So, yeah. Jane, she was like, I knew they were going to ask you. Oh, thank you guys. I know. A lot of people are here. What's up, Selma? You're a mole. Selma's like, I'm a mole. Everyone's picking their type of, skin pigmentation in relationship to their relationship with me. And it's fine. I appreciate everybody who's here. Freckles are kisses from the sunshine. I like that, Bridge. That's a good way to look at it. I have a thing going on with my voice now, guys. I don't know what's happening. I've woken up hoarse every day. So that's just my new way of being. Hey. Yeah. So what we're going to be doing today, guys. I know, Selma. I love you so much. We're going to go in the Wayback Machine here. Back to 1985. 1985. I was 9. I was 9 years old. Okay, so let's go back to the 80s. And why are we going back to the 80s? Well, I'm going to show you. So back in 1985, there was a massive lawsuit against the Church of Scientology. Whoa, wrong thing to scroll, Nora. There we go. That the plaintiff won. Okay. So the Church of Scientology, this article is from June 13th, 1985. I love how everybody's identifying how old they were. Put yourself in that mindset, guys. That's good. I was 9. 9 years old. All right. Michelle, you can have that regular Pepsi. It's all right, girl. I still love you. All right. So the Church of Scientology moved back a step yesterday in its demonstrations against a jury verdict in Portland, Oregon, that assessed $39 million. Jamie, I was born into it. I was born into it in 1976. You were a baby, a wee baby. You were 18, Verity. I'm loving thinking about all of you guys as like children. 17, Amy. Wow. All right. Gen X is showing up here. Oh, look at this, JB808. JoJo. Also, if you guys aren't subscribed to Joe's channel, where she makes this amazing protest music, go see it. Look at that. You're going to start getting some playtime at the protests. What's up? I love it. All right, let's get back to the article here. 39 million in punitive damages against Lafayette Ronald and 2 of its corporations. Okay. Notice how they are referred to as corporations. Because they are. For 27 days, 500 or more members had demonstrated in downtown Portland The marches began, so these started in May of 1985. Okay. 500 or more members had demonstrated in downtown Portland. The marches began the day the jury verdict was returned in favor of a former Scientologist. Yesterday, Heber Jensch, international president of Scientology, announced at a park rally in Portland that the large parades would be dropped and the demonstrations scaled back. We're going to go out today, but we'll leave, oh, good God. We'll leave a delegation to keep and maintain the flame. He said 40 to 50 Scientologists will remain to conduct daily demonstrations. The spokesman for the group, who have said as many as 10,000 have visited Portland to take part in marches. In their twice-a-day demonstrations, they were protesting twice a day, okay, for 27 days, okay? In their twice-a-day demonstrations, the Scientologists have emerged from their meeting rooms in the Masonic Temple to march through, for whatever reason, they were meeting at the Masonic Temple. Okay. To march through downtown Portland. They marched 5 blocks to circle the Multnomah County Courthouse, where a judge was considering the Scientologists' motion for mistrial. Jury verdict assailed. Their signs called the demonstration the Religious Freedom Crusade. That's my best Jeff Pomerantz, guys. Portland, Oregon, 1985. Leaflets and statements of leaders asserted that the jury verdict was based on religious prejudice. They're here because they care about their religion. The Reverend Ken Hoden, president of the Church of Scientology of Los Angeles, said of the demonstrators, they don't like their church being mocked in front of a jury. A memorandum that supports the motion for mistrial, which Circuit Court Judge Donald H. Launder has before him, discerns a chilling effect that the size of the word will have on the free exercise of all religions. Information distributed by Scientologist aides cited support for their organization from the Reverend Dean Lewis, chairman of the Religious Liberty Committee of the National Council of Churches, as well as from the New York Committee for Religious Freedom and the Protestant Conference of Churches and Clergy, both of New York. Verdict is supported. However, the Jewish Christian Association of Oregon has taken the view that the verdict does not constitute a threat to religious freedom. Interesting. The issue is one of fraud, said Rabbi Joshua Stanford for the association. Said the jury decided a dispute in which it was alleged that goods and services had been promised but not delivered. Correct. Judge Launder instructed the jury that Scientology was a religion. He also instructed that if a religion made promises on matters wholly secular and failed to keep them, it might be liable for claims of fraud. Sounds reasonable to me. In arguing for mistrial, the Scientologist attorney says to permit the punitive damage award to stand would be tantamount to declaring open season on all minority religions. This is how they're twisting the narrative. On May 29th, Judge Launder said that he would rule on the motion for mistrial in a few weeks. The verdict reached May 17th favored Julie Christopherson Tichborne, 27, who was a Scientology member for several months between 1975 and 1976. While a member, she paid over $3,200 for courses offered by the Church of Scientology. On a visit home, her family persuaded her to leave the group. She sued. Now, this is the important part. And if the internet wizards out there can help me in locating any documents about this case, I would love to get my hands on them. While a member, she sued after her request for her return of money was rejected. So she was like, bro, I want my money back, right? So they were like, oh, not today, Felicia, no. Okay, so the judgment in the earlier trial in 1979, okay, so they were fighting for a mistrial from 1979 until 1985. She won a judgment for $2,067,000 on her contention that Scientology courses, listen closely, kids, had left her with a warped personality and weakness in meeting stressful situations. Now, you have to realize this is 1979. This is called CPTSD and anxiety. Two words which were not things that were diagnosed at that time, right? And the courses would help her vision. She had been promised that the courses would help her vision, okay, and increase her ability to perform academically. In May 1982, the Oregon Court of Appeals held that since Scientology described itself as a religion, the trial judge had erred in allowing the jury too much scope in considering fraud because the truth of religious beliefs could not be determined by courts. In a retrial, which began on March 11th, now this is 1985, Ms. Tichborne sought return of her course fees and punitive damages of $20 million from L. Ron Hubbard, a former science fiction writer who founded the Church of Scientology 35 years ago, as well as $20 million from the Church of Scientology of California. Okay. The Mission of Davis, which is where my dad got into Scientology, the legal name of the Portland chapter, because when this is a whole thing, but when the missions broke up, that mission, they took it up to Portland, and now it's the Portland org. But it was still incorporated in California. The closing argument of Gary P. McMurray, Miss Tichborne's attorney, was cited in the motion for a mistrial. Mr. McMurray called the Church of Scientology, a bogus scheme of mental health to which religiosity is callously tacked on. I would agree. The latest judgment, the jury voted unanimously that $3,203 in fraud damages should be returned to Ms. Tichborne. It also voted that a $20 million punitive judgment against Lafayette Ronald, who disappeared from public view a few years ago. By 9-3 margins, the jury voted that a $17.5 million punitive judgment against the Church of Scientology of California and $1.5 against the Oregon branch. Asked to explain why the demonstrations continued each day, Peter Thompson, a Scientologist, press officer from England, said, "We're trying to galvanize Scientologists and non-Scientologists into awareness that this judgment is a major erosion of the American right to practice their own religion freely." Asked if the demonstrations were designed to put pressure on Judge Lawner, Mr. Thompson replied, you can't pressure judges. Absolutely not. So then what happens after that? Okay, so this judge is like, go fuck yourself, Scientology. Here's $39 million. Here we go. Jubilant. And now this one is from July 17th. So a month later, okay. Good God, this page is filled with stupid ads. Sorry. Nothing I can do about those. Sorry, guys. Jubilant Church of Scientology members called a judge's rejection of a $39 million fraud award victory for freedom of religion. But the attorney for the ex-member who brought the suit vowed to continue the fight. Multnomah County Circuit Judge Donald Lawner voided a $39 million fraud verdict against the church Tuesday, declaring a mistrial in the suit by former member Tichborne, who was not in the courtroom. In a ruling frequently critical of his own, so he overturned his own ruling. In a ruling critical of his own conduct during the 11-week trial, Launder said that the case had gone astray from fraud accusations leveled by Tichborne and had become an attack on the Church of Scientology itself. Boy, it sounds like somebody may have talked to the judge. I mean, I'm just guessing here. This is just conjecture, allegedly, and in my opinion. Oh, I forgot. Let me put that up here. In my opinion, The judge also said Tichborne's lawyer, Gary McMurray, violated the judge's instruction by telling the jurors in his closing arguments that Scientology is not a religion. Launder said that the Oregon Court of Appeals had previously ruled that Scientology is a religion. The judge also took McMurray to task for comparing Scientology to totalitarian communism and referring to the church founder, Lafayette Ronald, as a warped sociopath. God, I would have loved to have been in that courtroom. Where is this gentleman now? We need him. Tichborne, who left Scientology after undergoing deprogramming, sued the church on the grounds that she was bilked of $3,203 paid for courses that were supposed to improve her eyesight and intelligence study habits. Church attorneys argued that the courses were religious in nature, and Tichborne knew that she was being involved in a religion. Earl Cooley. Fucking Earl Cooley. I'm the happiest man found anywhere. The flamboyant Boston attorney who had defended the church. Cooley said he expected the Tichborne case would be retired in about 2 months after the prejudice and passion cools down. It took great courage on his part, Cooley said of Launder's decision. The Constitution has been vindicated in the hands of a great civil libertarian. McMurray had little to say as he left the courthouse, but said of the ruling, "We were surprised." Asked how he would do in another trial, he replied, "Great." He also said he will decide what to do within the next 30 days, adding only, we will have something filed. The jury's May 17th verdict followed the second trial of Tichborne's claims. Another jury awarded her $2 million in 1979, but that judgment was overturned 3 years later by the Oregon Court of Appeals. Church members this summer staged a 2-month religious freedom crusade. I have to say it like Jeff. In Portland, that drew more than 10,000 people to the city for rallies, demonstrations, and concerts. The last demonstration included show business personalities such as actor John Travolta and jazz musician Chick Corea, who gave several free concerts. Okay. Now, 2 major things I want to take away from this, okay? Numero uno. What was it, and this is a quiz, what was it that Scientology utilized, kids, to get their way, to make their displeasure known? What did they use? Could it be protesting? Methinks the lady doth protesteth too much. Okay. Yeah. They protested what they're trying to get shut down right now around the world. They used in 1985 to admonish a judge publicly, but you can't put pressure on judges, and to rally support for their cause. Like, look at us. We're fun. We've got John Travolta. Look at Chick Corea's giving a free concert in the fucking park. And people are like, leave the Scientologists alone. Right? It's insane. It's insane. Okay. Now, there was an interview that Hebergent did back in 1985 with Mike Wallace on CBS's 60 Minutes. Now, there is a 10-minute clip, which is the parts of the interview they actually aired. But instead of watching that, I want you to see the raw footage of the whole interview. Okay. The video goes in and out. The video quality is very low, guys. I've not done anything to restore this. But here we go. Here's Heber. I don't know who this is. We'll find out in the middle. And there's Mike Wallace and probably one of his aides. Here we go.
10 years?
That's not
No,
exactly.
the only people who are here are Scientologists who live the philosophy and religion of Scientology. They requested to be here because their religion is the current attack of government and so forth. So they wanted to be able to see this particular interview and so forth.
So Mike Wallace is there surrounded by Scientologists, obviously like a gold shoot crew. This is all intimidation. So I stand corrected. All the people, except for Mike Wallace in that room, and Mike Wallace's crew are Scientologists.
I would have been pleased had you told me ahead of time that you intended to have an audience here. This amounts to an audience broadcast, which you did not tell me about ahead of time. You have more cameras here, Reverend Jench, than CBS has.
Well, I would hope so. We're not very a poor organization.
Let the record
I would hope so. We're not a very poor organization.
show that, number one, you never told me that anybody was going to be here except Mr. Cooley and yourself. Never. I granted you permission to film, tape.
That's correct.
You have more cameras here than we do. I take it. I take you at your. No, you have 1, 2, and 3.
Right.
I take you at your word that there is nobody here from any other journalist organization.
Not covering it? No.
No, I do not.
He's mad. Let me see if the closed captionings pick up anything.
Hi, my name is Terry Jastro. I'm a producing director at SW Scholls. I'm here only as a Scientologist. I'm not covering it. I'm just an interested bystander. Is that okay, sir?
Well, as I said, I would prefer that we
Yeah, I have to turn off the closed captioning. So Terry Jastro, right there, is Ann Archer's husband and Tommy Davis's father, stepdad. Okay. So Terry Jastro came up to talk to Mike Wallace. Let me rewind that a little bit so you guys can see that.
Hi, my name is Terry Jastro.
Hi, I'm Terry Jastro, director and producer of ABC Sports. I'm only here as a Scientologist. I'm not covering it. I'm just an interested bystander. So he had to disclose.
We don't ordinarily do our things in front of an audience, but
yeah,
audience is going to see
We are
it.
at the mercy of Reverend Jench. And I wish he had been more candid with me ahead of time. Conceivably, we would have come to a different arrangement.
So I called him yesterday on some other business and just learned that you were coming to town.
so he called Heber yesterday and learned that he was coming to town. He asked,
Join the
"It's
crowd."
okay. It's okay if I
1,
sit."
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. There are about 25 Scientologists.
25.
We have a lot more downtown. There's more than 10 of us. Are you about ready to go? Comfortable?
I'm ready for the meltdown, man.
What's that?
I'm ready for the meltdown.
He's on the cool side. On the cool side. So I'm ready whenever you're ready. If you're comfortable, we'll start. Right. And just for the record.
Roll camera.
Good morning, Richard.
Good morning. Film roll 28, A and B rolls.
Got to get the clapper in there.
Well, Mr. Wallace, I'm glad that you can be here with us this morning. And I wanted to be able to, of course, say that there are a few people here, and it's perhaps not what you're accustomed to in terms of people viewing it. But this is our religion, and the people who are members of the religion want to know how it's being treated, how it's being viewed, and so forth. And so they've requested to be here. I'm glad that they could be here. We sit here. Our concern, of course, is that there is a fair balance, that there is a fair presentation about Scientology because of its worldwide implications and its impact on this particular civilization. You're a man who's been a pugilist in these matters, probably.
Worldwide impact. As if Scientology has an actual worldwide impact. Guys, I didn't grow up in any other religions, okay? I mean, I occasionally attended a Seventh-day Adventist church and an Episcopalian church when my grandmothers would make me go to those things. I never once heard a minister or a preacher stand at the pulpit and espouse about the worldwide impact of Seventh-day Adventism or, Episcopalianism. The only things they talked about having impact were your sins and whether or not you were going to heaven or hell. Do I totally have that wrong? Did I mishear the sermons? Like, who else talks like that?
For 40 years. So it's nothing new to you.
You'll understand if I reject the word pugilist.
Fine. And as we agreed on the phone, there were agreements that we did make. I did want to make a basic presentation, and Mr. Cooley will make a presentation, so that in terms of the presentation of what we see here as Scientology and what it's doing and what we understand as our particular rights in America under the First Amendment, which we share, the media and religion, I wanted to make the record very clear that we are concerned about the current assaults on religion, the religious bashing concepts that have been going on in America, and we sort of dissected those. One of the things which I have been concerned with is something which I mentioned to you on the phone, and I sent you copies of this information, a plan which is called the Flint Association.
Just notice the stack. I want to see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, like at least 10 manila folders here. See all these manila folders, guys? This is what we would use to put the sheets in when you are doing the counseling sessions, right? Like when I tell you everything is on legal paper, notice his notes are on legal paper. Everything is on legal paper.
Associated Management Corporation, which is what we call FAMCO, or that's basically what a Boxford lawyer by the name of Michael Flynn.
Wait, what is this corporation? See, I haven't watched this whole thing all the way through, guys. I'm always learning with you.
Concerned about the current assaults on religion, the religious bashing concepts that have been going on in America, and we sort of dissected those. One of the things which I have been concerned with is something which I mentioned to you on the phone, and I sent you copies of this information, a plan which is called the Flint Associated Management Corporation, which is what we call FAMCO, or that's basically what a Boxford lawyer by the name of Michael Flynn, who I believe you've spoken with, drew up a plan which involved basically the government and himself, private litigation, and people who are involved in the, I call it the kidnapping for profit business called deprogramming or depersonalizing. Mr. Flynn has been involved with that. Counsel in the Christofferson case involved with that. It seems to be a thread that runs through a number of the current cases the church has litigation.
So at this time, a lot of people were being deprogrammed. There was a lot of different cult deprogrammers at the time because the 70s, late 60s and 70s, y'all, were chock-a-block filled with cults. Okay, so people, experts, had begun to be like, you know what? We need to help these people break the spell. Okay, so the people that he's talking about now were very active in the 70s and 80s. You know, people's families would hire them. Sometimes they would go in and, some of them did. Some of them did kidnap people. Okay. Some of them did not. Like, for example, in the Christofferson case, which he's referencing, which we just read, she went home to see her family, right? And then they did an intervention. So, yeah. But they like to say that all the deprogrammers are just kidnapping people off the street and they're bad.
Those type of individuals have sought to attack religion. In fact, not to you, but to one of your other producers in 60 Minutes, we did send tapes of actual depersonalizings in progress by Ted Patrick, the patron saint of the people who are in this movement of assaulting religion, etc., and kidnapping for profit. The FAMCO Corporation documents are rather fascinating because I would say today that I am sure that this interview is going to follow basically the plan of FAMCO, which is it indicates several different plans here, but it says to basically attack the policies of the church.
So first of all, they're accusing Mike Wallace a journalist of attempting to promote or use deprogramming in this interview, which is wild. Absolutely wild. But this, again, instead of, Mike Wallace hasn't said one word yet. He's supposed to be conducting the interview. Who's in charge of this interview right now, guys? It's Heber Jensch, as if he's interviewing Mike Wallace. Now we'll watch when it flips.
Attack the founder of the church. It indicates that the idea is to create a climate in which Scientology will basically find it impossible to litigate. I consider that an assault on the First Amendment, and I consider the concept of this treason to the First Amendment in terms of religious liberty in this country. I've lived with it for a lot of years, and looking at this, it says here the national media attention attributable to our office. It indicates in here that there are several media who have assisted, or they have assisted in attacking Scientology. It says 60 Minutes, our own office assisted Alan Moraines in producing of Scientology documentation by providing witnesses and documents. It talks about using the media to attack the Church of Scientology. And then it says go through media coverage of trial testimony and evidence, trials of future cases, and then it says to go after L. Ron Hubbard's personal history, and I'm sure we're going to cover that today.
Look how patient Mike Wallace is.
Documents here. And it says to go into the past history of Scientology, people who leave Scientology, sales techniques, auditing information. It says to bring about these particular portions of this plan. We've lived it. I've lived through it. I've seen this thing in operation, so I'm concerned. It says to create loss of business for Scientology, increased rate of defection, present members are influenced by continual onslaught of bad publicity, potential defectors are influenced and encouraged by existence of organized group of ex-Scientologists who are suing Scientology, and then potential defectors can easily locate and meet with organized Scientologists. I'm saying you're part of it. I don't think you are. But I think that your researchers could have done much better by you, by looking at this, presenting that information to you, and giving you an overview of that sort of
See, now
assault.
we're friends. He's going to befriend him.
There's much more here, but basically he indicates he's working with the government, the Internal Revenue Service, the Justice Department, joining against the Church of Scientology in civil litigation, which is against our constitutional rights. And by the way, it's against the law for the government to do that. But they did it in the Christofferson case. And they certainly did it in the Jerry Armstrong case and so forth.
Oh!
In fact, I would assume that the key people that you've interviewed, at least some of them, are people who are government witnesses. Pony show that he's taken around the country and so forth. So the caveat is don't be drawn in by some of the research that's been given you. He indicates that he has the assistance of the Internal Revenue Service here, United States Attorney's Office, representatives of the American Medical Association. I didn't know they were in the business
Not actual
of
doctors.
spiritual counseling technology.
What?
Finishing up on FAMCO, what is interesting is that we also have checks from Mr. Flynn paid to known people who have kidnapped and held people against their will. We also have the information in the Christofferson case that Ms. Christofferson was involved in deprogramming herself for money. Her mother, on the stand, indicated she did the same thing. And these are the people who have tried to castigate my religion and castigate the founder of this religion. And I consider it a criminal assault, though.
Not
with a much
somebody who
larger
got deprogrammed, who's now helping to deprogram other people. Make it stop.
purpose than Scientology. The larger purpose is selling stock. FAMCO was to sell stock in an organization designed to remove the First Amendment rights of religion in America.
So they're claiming, their argument is to deprogram someone from a high control cult situation, right, is infringing on someone's First Amendment right to freedom of religion, which is incorrect.
That's what it is. And as we go through today, I'm sure that we'll refer back to various portions of that. In terms of what Scientology has done, it's going to be terribly boring for you because we didn't really go into this. But when you did the show 5 years ago, there was another side which your researchers didn't give you. And the other side to that was simply this, that Scientology has been involved in extensive social reform activities of the government, individuals in government. I wouldn't say the whole of government. We're both wise enough to know that it's more extensive than, it's not just the whole of government, individuals in government. And our concerns have taken this whole area of mind control by the CIA, etc. Our concerns indicate here, the Washington Post, April 22nd, 1980, talks about us exposing the Army report details germ war exercise in New York subway in 1966, how the Army spread subway germs, chemical warfare in the cities, and so forth.
See, now they're going to do the trick where you just overwhelm the person with random facts to move them from any critical questions. You're trying to scramble their brains. This is an active brain scrambling in action.
The CIA biological warfare, tests linked to Florida whooping cough outbreaks, wherein we found that the CIA went down into Florida with ethnic weapons, viruses.
We found, because we are the best investigators on planet Earth, and you didn't even know this, you poor wee journalist man who's just corrupt and evil and stupid. Let me tell you what you don't know.
Which they could, whooping cough viruses that attacked black children. The death rates went up, 12 deaths that we can document, 300 cases in an epidemic proportion. We exposed that. We recently obtained documents from the FBI who kind of went insane when they found out that we were investigating that type of thing a few years ago. And they didn't want to stop the fact.
That's not what was being investigated, Heber. Liar, liar, pants on fire.
The CIA had murdered those, and I say murder. The CIA has refused to respond on these questions when they were approached by other media. And they investigated our people for investigating that.
No, you got
Scientology, through the years, has exposed that type of activity.
Sure.
Our social reform actions have attacked the Internal Revenue Service and its policies. In fact, there's United Press International Wire that's come out this morning by Daniel F. Gilmore. It says, Washington UPI, a blistering report to Congress, accuses the Internal Revenue Service of Nazi-like tactics and having gone berserk and totally out of control. Based on what? We have their 5-year strategic plan to influence itself in every American's life. You may see it.
I've printed it out.
Every part of an American's life with its computerization system. Mr. Wallace, it means...
Not computers! Not computers! Computers are evil.
It means your life, it means my life, it means everyone here.
Just evil.
The fact that they can take your credit card numbers and they can check out everything you do with your credit card, that they can follow your phone and every activity of the person who phones you, etc. The fact that they would move into a person's life and be able to look at his medical records and all of that, to see what he buys at a drugstore and so forth. That kind of activity, that dossier system of magnitude, which the average person in the American public would not necessarily understand, I find unconscionable. The church finds it unconscionable. And oddly enough, we're the only ones, along with others, there are some people along with us who have exposed that type of activity. We're concerned. That's our social reform activity. And I'm saying to you, your researchers could have said, Mike, there's another side to this. There's another particular activity to this. I could go on and on and on. Our exposure of psychiatric assaults and abuses in this country start from day one when Mr. Hubbard wrote Dianetics of Modern Science and Mental Health.
Uh-oh. See, do you see Mike Wallace is so frustrated right now? He just threw his fucking readers on the table. Heber is just preaching now. Here we go.
Okay. I've personally been involved in exposing murders in mental hospitals here in California. I don't agree with it. I don't think people's rights should be taken away. And I personally, with others, fought for the right of people in the state of California just to say, I don't want electric shock, thank you very much, or I don't want a lobotomy, and so forth. because they were giving it to children.
The and so forth, y'all, is sending me. That is so Lafayette Ronald, and so forth, and so on, etc. And therefore, and so on too.
1 years of age up here in California.
That's all right. I don't think that.
I'm almost done.
The producer is like, what the actual fuck?
Keep going.
You want me to keep going?
Fine. You don't have a transcript of the last broadcast that we do in front of you, perchance, do you?
The one you did in 1980?
Yeah.
Gary, do we have that?
Somebody has it there, I gather.
You have it in the other office? Do you,
I have it.
Do you need that?
Here it is. Got it.
Somebody's just fixing Heber's hair here. Gotta make him look perfect.
I hope that we're getting this on camera. Is she going to come around and do the same thing for me?
Anything you like.
Look at, they just have a gold lady.
You've got a good
They're
enough tan.
fixing-
You've been out in the
fixing
sun. You know,
makeup.
some of us have been in these offices for a long time.
Yes.
And in the rains of Oregon.
Yes. Yep.
Roll
Anytime.
cameras.
Film roll 29, A and B cameras, marker.
So as I was saying, the areas of social reform, the fact that we would have to fight for the right of people just to resist something like psychiatry and so forth. People who've attacked us? Sure. So we went in South Africa, and our people exposed 10,000 blacks in concentration camps, secret camps, mental health camps, they called them, in old abandoned mining compounds.
Do we even have to fact check that, guys? Do we even have to fact check that?
Which we exposed at the potential loss of life of our people who did it. Within 24 hours, South Africa enacted laws making it illegal for anyone to possess those pictures and so forth. There are major corporations in the United States, including parts of the California government, invested in corporations which have monies into these particular mining camps with 10,000 blacks in them. We exposed all of that. And who did the American Psychiatric Association send down to investigate? According to his personal communication to me, Dr. Lewis Jolin West, one of the...
God, Heber hated Jolly West so much. Now, Jolly West is kind of a controversial figure just in the realm of psychiatry, and we can do more on that later. But just listen to how much he hates Jolly West, like so much.
top people involved with CIA brainwashing in the United States, and he basically said, well, you know why that's going on down there? They rent these people out. They rent them out. They drive them out in trucks and stuff like that, just like Auschwitz. They rent them out to private industry, and in 1975 posted a $64 million profit renting blacks out in, quote, mental health camps. And if they didn't work, they got electric shock, so forth. We exposed that. That's the Church of Scientology. Nobody else did. And we took on the whole government of South Africa to do it. And we took on the wrath of those corporations which were involved in it to do it. And we'll continue to do it. But that's the other side.
But they didn't fix apartheid.
That's the other thing that you'll never hear from Raymond Banoon. You're never going to hear from the U.S. Attorney's Office. And you probably won't hear from the Internal Revenue Service because, frankly, they don't care. I bring up Mr. West because he's also a major attacker of religion in Europe and the United States, a psychiatrist. Fine. Finally, I'm a Scientologist. I have been for 18 years. I'm a young man. I think the care of the press have basically said,
He got in 1967. What also happened in 1967? That was the formation of the fake space navy. So that's where Heber comes from the runaway science fiction madman on the high seas, and that's Heber's intro.
I know you're looking for the hair. I think the press, you got more than me. I think the press have basically said that, most of the people in Scientology are very, very young. That's true, I am. And there are some people older than me.
Not as young as David Miscavige.
Oh, uh-oh. Let's talk about David Miscavige.
or as old as Von Young. Von Young's a friend of mine.
Really? Interesting, Keeper. What happened with Von Young just a few years later? Oh, he's gone.
Now, the thing is that there are millions of Scientologists who are very happy with Scientology. Millions. Millions and millions.
Why?
Why? Because it works. Because it's not something that is done to you, which is what psychiatry basically operates on. It is something you do something with.
That right there, it is not something that is done to you. It is something you do something with. Now that is a perfect bunch of insane word salad, guys. Oh, I'm in the wrong thing. Boop. Wrong channel. Here I am. Okay. It's not something done to you. So that's always been the argument against other mental health practices, that you sit down and the psychiatrist, psychologist, counselor, whatever, tells you what's wrong with you. That's not actually how counseling works. Okay. But Scientology is something you do something with. It's a tool. That tool is usually used on yourself. And other people use that tool on you. And you use it on other people. So it is still something done to you. But when you describe it like that, it sounds like it's not. Very clever. Very clever.
For me personally, I grew up in Utah. I was one of the people who was the recipients of fallout from Yucca Flats. And the wonderfulness of this government chose not to tell the doctors in the area what it was like to get radiation burns over your body from fallout, which I got, and I almost died from. Doctor didn't even know what it was. Had cortisone not been a brand new...
First of all, the government didn't know what would happen to people when they were testing nuclear bombs. My grandfather, true story time, my grandfather was working in Richland, Washington as a nuclear scientist. None of those guys were supposed to have babies. But my grandpa had 5 kids. So, yeah, they didn't know how much they were being exposed to. They didn't have galvanometers and all this radiation detectors and all this shit. They had no idea. It was all brand new science. They were literally, guys, making it up as they went along. Okay? No clue. Oh, we're going to go over the David Miscavige interview. That's later. We're going in time here. All right. Hey, Laura, we're going to keep going. But this is why Heber got into Scientology, to heal him from radiation poisoning. There is a very famous book that L. Ron wrote called All About Radiation. One day we'll go over that nugget. Yes, my mom was a Hanford baby. Yes. And one time, guys, the University of Chicago wanted to test me and my sister, and my mom test our blood to see. They were doing all these tests on Hanford babies. And my mom said, no, I really wish you would have, because I'm convinced that we have you know how all earthbound superheroes become superheroes because of some Bruce Banner gets the radiation, the gamma rays and all this stuff, right? Maybe I just haven't unlocked my superpower yet. I'll figure it out. Hopefully I do. I mean, I'm almost 50. Superpowers, let's go.
Drug at the time, I would have died 24 hours later. And for years and years, I carried within me the aching bones and the sensation of enormous fatigue from that particular experience. It was Hubbard's technology which alleviated that for the first time in my life. So I'm not a person who's going to be attacking L. Ron Hubbard. And you will find there are others like me for different reasons.
Millions?
I would say millions, yes.
How many millions?
Right now there are almost eight
card-carrying members of
card-carrying
Scientology.
Miriam.
Yeah.
Oh, I see your analogy. No, we don't believe in communism.
No. You know and I know that
Wow.
that was not meant in that sense. No, I would be curious to know, because no one seems to know just how many Scientologists there are.
They're everywhere.
Well, I understand. How many?
Everywhere.
Okay, let's do the figures.
We could say there are a great many. We base it on the fact that a person takes
That's
some
Heber.
Scientology and uses it in his life. Do you know there are 8 million books sold of Dianetics, modern science, and mental health? The basic book about the mind, how the mind works, and so forth. There are some 30 million books Mr. Hubbard has published on Scientology and the philosophy of Scientology, its technology.
That makes about 38 million.
They figure there's about 10 or 20 people read a book and its history in the hands of the public. I run into people all over the world who are not necessarily members of the church, but who've used Dianetics or who use those particular books as part of their lives.
But
We take a figure.
Scientologists,
We take a figure of people who've come into the churches over the last 30-something years
And who have studied some course in Scientology. And that is the basic figure that
Can you also grab me a Sprite? Thanks, sweetheart. Okay, so he's explaining here how they actually count the number of Scientologists. It is not, hang on. It is not actual people who are like, declare, I'm a Scientologist. Anyone who, and this is still the way they count it now, anyone who buys a book, okay, and does the corresponding, even mail-in course with that, they are now a Scientologist forever. You're a counted Scientologist. If you come in one day and you do a free seminar, you're a Scientologist. All of that. Okay. Yes, and that's true too, Professor Cockott. Anybody who reads Dianetics, you're a Scientologist. They're counting you. It's kind of like how the Mormons will go and baptize even dead people so that they can like ascend higher into heaven because they baptized more people. Yeah. Same.
we use.
and
We
that
don't,
amounts to how many?
a little over 6 million. A little over 6 million. And we're growing. The expansion of
We're growing.
Scientology, oddly enough, is date coincident with us kicking out a number of these people that you.
Okay. Date coincident. That is a huge phrase in Scientology. That means at the moment that we discovered or found out that thing, good things started to happen. Date coincident. And it's also not used in Scientology, but that gets really used a lot Scientologically. So now he's going to talk about how all these bad people have left. And now everything's just roses.
You've given the forum here as dissidents against Scientology.
You know, you spoke of the
Well,
first broadcast.
let me
You're
just
not
say,
finished yet.
not
Forgive
just
me.
finished. The
Heber
point
wasn't
simply
done.
is that in 1982 and 83, a bunch of us decided that the old Guardian's office, which had usurped a lot of power that it shouldn't have taken.
First of all, they were run by Mary Sue Hubbard, the wife of L. Ron Hubbard, who was the second in command of everything. They were separate from the church, and their job was to protect L. Ron Hubbard and Mary Sue and Scientology, even from internal threats. They had the power because that was their job.
Would kick those people out. And we removed the people who had committed crimes in the church,
Uh-oh.
who had violated the government's laws. We removed all of those people. But we also removed with it the people who were into power pushes, the Bill Franks, the Laurel Sullivans. Each one of these people, by the way, seem to escalate their office when they leave the Church of Scientology.
So these are other people who had worked with Lafayette Ronald, okay? These were not just nobodies, okay? Who were holding tremendous power in the church. And now they're going to pretend like these people were just janitors.
They always become a high official. I guess if the media look at it, that's immediately what they want to say.
But we went in, we cleaned out those people, and date coincident with that, the expansion of the church has continued on an enormous rate, the highest in its history. New churches, new missions. We're now at about 600 something churches, missions, organizations, internationally. Franchise was a word from the past.
Yeah. They used to call them franchises, guys, because they're corporations. Again. No, Danny Masterson was a baby. Danny Masterson's the same age as me. He was 9 at the time.
And we now call them missions. Yes,
Why?
franchises.
Why did you change from franchise to mission?
Option, right to do it, no problem.
Because of the overtones somehow in the word franchise that is like a fast food or a restaurant or conceivably a transmission shop for profit.
You know, I kind of, when I listen to you, I get the feeling.
Notice how he doesn't answer the question. He's going to immediately attack Mike Wallace.
Of Mike Wallace walking among mufflers and things like that, and trying to merchandise a religion. You may.
Scientology is the most merchandised religion of all time.
Find the word distasteful to you in some way. But no, the word has other definitions, and it means that we cordoned off certain areas geographically, and we put the churches there, and we had missions and so forth around the United States, around the world, 35 countries.
The Scientologists were the ones who changed the word from franchise to mission. I'm simply asking why you jettisoned the word franchise and took the word mission.
Good job, Mike Wallace. You get your question answered.
Because we just thought it was a better word. There you are. Now, let me.
We just thought it was a better word. See, now he thought Mike Wallace was mad. So he had to change his tone level there, right?
Just finish the last thing here. When we threw all those people out, there was, of course, they were concerned about the fact that Mr. Miscavige was one of the people who threw them out. Now they're trying to get back. Why?
Oh, was David Miscavige involved in excommunicating core people from Lafayette Ronald's life shortly before his death while he was starting to usurp power? What?
Because they want the control, they want the power, but they want it for themselves. The David Mayos and so forth, who I'm sure you've interviewed extensively.
Not David Mayo. Not the case supervisor that L. Ron Hubbard officially appointed as his technical successor for all of Scientology. Not that guy.
Or whatever. The people who are disaffected, the people who want to rip off the trademarks, the copyrights, and so forth, and still call themselves Scientology. They can be anything they want, Mike, but they cannot be what they are not. They cannot be Scientology. And we are the people who have a workable system. Millions of people, you asked me, or Alan Moraines asked me on the phone, why is John Travolta involved?
Notice how Mike Wallace cannot get a question in. He's so patient.
I think you have a copy of his interview with CBS in Portland, Oregon. He indicated that it works for him. He counsels, he receives counseling. Many other people like that involved in Scientology. And though it may seem difficult for people to understand that, it works for them. And Hubbard has developed, let's say, a path, a way to understand yourself. I'll bring it down to its real microcosm, and I think that my religious fellows in the various other religions will probably castigate it a little bit, but let me bring it down to its simplicity. In the Eastern tradition, under the Mahayana Buddhist concept, you start with helping the individual understand himself as a spiritual being. Then you move from that to understanding the supreme being. In the Western civilization, the Judeo-Christian concept, I'm simplifying it, I understand, is this. You take then the concept of understanding the supreme being or God and working back to an understanding of yourself. Two different approaches to spiritual enlightenment. Hubbard chose the Eastern method and has extended that to allow each individual to determine for himself what is religious, what.
Guys, he wanted Indian and not, hummus. Basically, that's what he chose. Yeah. Yeah. He chose the Indian method. You know, he chose the Eastern method. Yeah. For those of you who don't know, Buddha was an Indian prince. He was, yeah. And then like lived an ascetic life and then, you know, sat down under a fig tree and figured it all out, you know. And then Elrond was like, I can do that on a boat. Yeah.
His concept of supreme being is. See, Scientology is not a dogma. It's not a ritual.
No.
It's an activity.
It's an activity.
It is an
It is not a
empirical
dogma.
religion.
It is not a ritual.
It is not a dogma or a ritual. It's
Because-
separated from an activity.
The reason
applied
I
religious
ask-
philosophy.
It's not a dogma or a ritual. It's an activity. Then why are you so clinging to the word religion? A religion's not an activity. Praying is an activity that you do in a religion, right? Meditation for Buddhists is an activity that you do in a religion. But an activity itself can't be a religion.
If Scientology is not a dogma, not a ritual, as you say, then there should be the chance for many voices to be heard with their understanding of Scientology, what's right and conceivably even what's wrong about Scientology, no?
If you have a workable system, Mr. Wallace, which is a path that, let's say you wanted to build a car. You want to put 6 cylinders in there, and someone comes along and says, I like the idea, and, you know, we're going to try it with 5. And
Did you see him pick his nose?
we're going to cut out a couple of these extra pieces of material. We're going to leave out a couple of pistons here. We're going to throw out a couple of wires. That's the way I see it. The car's not going to run very well, is it? It's perhaps a bad analogy. But if you have a workable system of 6 cylinders, all in sync, work well, and put together in a particular design, seems that, you know,
Well,
anywhere in
then that
America, you
becomes,
repeat it.
that
Every-
becomes dogma. That becomes ritual.
No.
Now, you guys have to understand also, I'm gonna go just to me here for a second. You have to understand also that in preparation for this interview with Mr. They actually have 5-cylinder engines. I'm sorry. Of course, Peter comes up with this gem because of course you do, Peter. Thank you. What happened to Heber prior to doing this interview with Mike Wallace? He prepared for this interview for days. And I don't mean reading all the documents that he was talking about, practicing that little speech. No. Heber got bull baited. Another person sat across from him, pretending to be Mike Wallace, probably imitated his voice, asking outrageous questions so that Heber could answer any question that came at him and also have no reaction to anything that he said. Watch the body language of Heber and the gentleman sitting next to him, and watch the body language of Mike Wallace. It's very telling. Very telling. What's up, Susan? Thanks for being here.
That's the difference with Scientology. It becomes a very simple, workable system in which
All right, keep it going.
it becomes a very workable system in which an individual can, through his own understanding, do something. You want to check Mr. Wallace if he?
No, I'm fine. I'm fine.
He has
Now,
less
these
heat
members
over
of the Sea Org, now I begin to understand a little bit of what I've heard. The people who are taking care.
I'll tell you what, these women here,
Yes,
they're pretty, aren't they?
indeed they are.
You should have seen them before Scientology.
I have no words.
And that's not on film.
It is on yours.
Well, we try to cover everything we can.
Yes.
Now, when they say film, guys, you have to understand that they're using actual film in these cameras. It's 1985, and a roll of film only records for so long.
Do you want any fresh, cold water?
How long have you been a Scientologist, ma'am?
Let's see. Roll camera.
10 years?
She's 70 years old.
That's fine, thank you.
She's in the way here. Film roll 30, A and B camera marker.
All right, we going? Good.
So, just, basically what I wanted to say is that because of our cleaning out and purging of those people who were trying to hold Scientology down, you say, well, they should stay there and have an opinion. It's like saying Judas should stay right there next to Christ and keep trying to hang him every day.
L. Ron Hubbard is Christ, and they are Judas, Laurel Sullivan, Jerry Armstrong, and so forth.
I think your biblical understanding is a bit limited.
No, you've just said this.
I said in a religious context where an individual has something which is workable, why would you keep individuals within it who are fomenting for the destruction of it?
And you think that's what's on their mind, the destruction of Scientology?
Oh, I think the destruction of religion, and then the escalation of the new religion of the state, psychiatry. I'm sure Mr. Mayo loves psychiatry. In fact, he supports psychiatry.
Armstrong, Sullivan, all of them are
All of them
dedicated to the destruction of Scientology and the institution of a state psychiatric religion?
Well, I would say that since they support this whole depersonalizing movement, they certainly have joined.
That's deprogramming. That means getting people to unfuck their minds from the hypnotic trance that Lafayette Ronald has placed on all of his adherents.
That particular kind of camp, and the fact that most of them have millions and millions of dollars of suits against the church would indicate that they have a particular vested interest. I think Mr. Cooley can sort of cover that very well.
Are you a Scientologist, Mr.
I am
Cooley?
not a Scientologist.
We're working
Why
on
not?
it.
Because I'm a lawyer and I believe in the law.
This is Earl Cooley, guys, sitting next to him. Earl Cooley. I'm going to have to find, I know there's more info on him after all this, but yeah.
I have not had any religious training in Scientology beyond my reading of the works of L. Ron Hubbard. I find them to be fascinating, powerful theological studies. And I believe in many of the principles of Scientology as workable rules for life.
For instance?
Earl's practiced this like a closing argument for court.
Believe in the rule and the belief of Scientology that man can improve himself.
This is a major tenet that is promoted that, you can change. And Scientology claims to be the only religion that promotes the success of mankind.
Can better himself.
That's
and
not peculiar to Scientology.
It certainly is not, but it has been raised to, I think, a science, if not a principle to live by in Scientology. People
It's a science.
are taught to have faith in themselves, to improve themselves, to take responsibility for their own life, and to recognize themselves as spiritual beings. That is a deeply religious philosophy that glorifies what in other religions would be referred to as the soul.
So because Scientology says you're a spiritual being, bingo bongo, religion.
But makes man take responsibility for his life, for his actions, and for his interaction with his fellow man.
What is your own religious profession, if any?
I was born and raised a Congregationalist, if that's relevant. I married 27 years ago and started going to the Greek Orthodox Church. I've made a study of comparative religions just as an intellectual exercise that I enjoyed. I subscribe to no specific religious faith. I try to take the best of ethics out of all religions, and I think that is what L. Ron Hubbard has really done with Scientology.
He sounds like a Scientologist. I'm sorry.
What is your religious faith?
I don't think that it's really a matter of You're not interviewing me. I am interviewing you.
We
Oh, Mike Wallace finally takes it back.
would like to interview you, though.
I'll be. Please make an appointment, and I'll probably grant it.
All right.
Oh, no, but you had said I could ask you these questions.
Yes, of course you can
That
ask me
old devil has
questions.
put you in a bad spot.
Not at
Now,
all.
what is your religion?
I am Jewish, but let's really understand each other about this. I have requested an interview.
Mm-hmm.
You have granted an interview.
That's correct.
You have brought your people with you. You have your attorney by your side. So let's continue with this, all right?
Listen, I congratulate you on being Jewish. I think it's a great faith.
I do too. Now,
And I would fight to the death for your right to practice your religion.
I hope that you won't have to. Now,
Well, we may have to. Who knows? In America today. But go ahead, Earl. You were.
Yeah, I'd like to carry on, if I might, just a minute, Mike, because you've asked me whether I'm a Scientologist, and I'm not. But I've been involved with Scientology on a professional basis as the counsel for about 8 months.
So in 8 months, guys, 8 months, they have taken this man who's claiming he's not a Scientologist and turned him into a complete raving fanatic, willing to use his law degree to defend this heinous institution. Okay. Professor Kakan, you're giving us all the dirt. I'm going to go over your comments at the end here, though, my friend. Keep it up.
how did you come to represent the Scientologists church?
They came to me, and I will waive the attorney-client privilege for this limited extent. They came to me and explained to me a situation with which they were confronted, which involved litigation all over the United States that was apparently, and as I learned, actually under the control of one man, Michael Flynn of Boston. The witnesses that were being marshaled against Scientology were all former Scientologists who had left the church or had been purged from the church for activities that the church found were against the best interest of the church and of Scientology, and had been enlisted or gone to Michael Flynn, most of them as his clients, and were then formed into what I referred to in the Stogson case as the Flynn Six, or a traveling troupe of witnesses that were fungible in case after case, giving the same
Fungible.
Scientology found itself.
I thought that fungible was a word that was only used to talk about an NFT. This man in 1985 said fungible. I'm sorry.
In the position as each case arose, it came to trial or became prepared around the country, having their local counsel who retained reinvent the wheel every time they had to confront these witnesses. They felt that then it was in the best interest of the church to obtain one lawyer.
Stop the presses. Reese is here. Well, howdy, neighbor. Welcome in. We're doing a deep dive. Kitten Whiskers, we're here. We're talking about Heber. There's Heber and Earl Cooley trying to run circles around Mike Wallace in 1985, right after the Religious Freedom March in Portland. Here we go.
To deal with these people wherever they may appear. I was selected as that lawyer, and on that basis, I took some schooling in Scientology and in the methods of attack that have been used against the Church of Scientology for 35 years. I studied these people, and I studied the various cases and litigation that was being sponsored and maintained by Mr. Flynn. And I learned in very short order, in my judgment, that I was dealing with a religion and with a group of people that appear to me to be about the most persecuted and abused religious minority that I have seen or studied in history, with the possible exception of the Jews.
I'm going to leave that there for a second, everyone. He just said that Scientologists are the most persecuted group of people in history, with the exception of the Jews. the caucasity, the sheer. Reese, don't tell all our secrets about our secret messages to each other. Also, for those of you out there who don't watch the Secret Lives of Mormon Wives, that is a deep cut reference. Most persecuted. This is 1985, guys. 1985, because they were getting their asses sued off by everybody who was leaving. Okay. And that was this lawyer's non-actual scholar opinion. But he notice how he listed how was born a Congregationalist and then been attending a Greek Orthodox church, but he likes to study religion. So now he's framed himself as an expert in religion and then comes to this grandiose conclusion. Hey, Penny Ritchie, thank you for becoming a member. Also, yes, Rox, yes. If you're not subscribed to Relatable Reese, please go give her a subscribe. She is hilarious. If you need a good laugh, go hang out with Reese. She's fucking hilarious.
And that exception is maybe tenuous. I said to the Scientologists when I first met them, I don't know anything about you, but I know you've had some pretty bad PR. But the one thing that created a presumption in their favor, in my mind, was that I was conscious of a media blitz that occurred against the Church of Scientology in such a compressed period of time that it simply had to be orchestrated. And
so because so many people came forward at the same time and so many news outlets were like, what in the actual fuck? It had to be orchestrated. Can't just be the fact that there's a lot of people who've been hurt really, really bad by this criminal organization and we want justice. No. It has to be because it was orchestrated. I kind of remember something about something. Oh, right. When Me Too came out, somehow millions upon millions of women together were all like, you know what? I think we should all together put #MeToo and talk about all of the times that we were sexually abused. I think that's a great idea. It sounds like fun. I'll crochet while I'm doing it. Like, no. Every single one of us, myself included, who stood up and said #MeToo and told our story, in some case stories, did not do that as a coordinated effort to bring awareness to sexual assault. We did it because it's fucking time for that shit to be, people to be held accountable. Right? In the same way in the 70s where people were like, fuck Scientology, this place is a literal hell and it needs to be shut down. That was not coordinated. All those people got brave enough to stand up for themselves. And we're doing it again, Scientology. We're doing it again.
And I said, as far as I'm concerned, that means you're targeted by somebody. And I cannot live with a society that targets people because I find that they're, in my experience, with such targeting programs as the Federal Witness Protection Program, the like, we're dealing then with something that I think is pernicious.
You think the federal government, Mr. Cooley, is persecuting the Church of Scientology and its
I certainly do.
And you believe that the people who went to...
The federal government is persecuting Scientology, guys. Scientology, let's not forget, a mere 5 years earlier, had committed the largest infiltration of the United States government by any organization on planet Earth. And somehow they're the victim.
Prison a few years ago, top leaders of the church were victims of persecution,
No,
government persecution.
No, I don't. I think they committed crimes and I think they paid for them. And I think in this society, when you pay for your crime, that's history and it ought to be over.
So if they committed crimes, they paid for them, like Mary Sue.
Certainly is for drug pushers. It ought to be for religious people.
Also, Mr. Wallace, the people who infiltrated this Church of Scientology from the Food and Drug Administration, from the IRS and so forth, have not been prosecuted, and I think it would be very nice if the government took those criminals and put them in jail, because they haven't been prosecuted.
So that was the reverses that happened, where they infiltrated, they confiscated e-meters and things like that. And then there was a big ruling that the e-meter had to be labeled appropriately as a religious artifact, and it had to also say on the label that it in itself does nothing. Yeah.
The equal process, Article 14, Bill of Rights, Constitution of the United States. I think that ought to happen, and I'd feel real good about that. Equal prosecution under the law.
You raise a very wonderful question when you ask me.
Thank you, Mr. Cooley.
You're expert at it. When you ask me about those people who went to jail, those people were part of the Guardian's office, the GO, as it's known in the church.
Here we go. We're going to throw the whole entire Guardian's office under the bus, as if Lafayette Ronald's wife was not the head of it and he wasn't telling her how to run it.
Those people committed crimes.
Burglary, conspiracy to steal documents, conspiracy to forge government credentials, conspiracy to bug and wiretap government meetings,
Raymond Benoon, the source of
conspiracy
that.
to obstruct justice by lying to a grand jury, destroying evidence, submitting false evidence to the grand jury, harboring the fugitive, and kidnapping a witness when he decided to surrender. These top leaders of the Church of Scientology sentenced to up to 10 years.
Mike, are you here?
Did you guys catch all that? Those were the crimes committed by Scientologists at the behest of Lafayette Ronald via Mary Sue Hubbard, and carried out by people who are officially part of the Guardian's office and temps they hired, like my dad. Okay?
Here to do the 1980 show again, because that's the same thing that was done on the 1980 tape. I've just looked at it the other day.
It's like the summer
This
rerun.
is 1985.
Yeah, it's 1985. Let's not talk about our crimes again.
That is ancient history, and you know it.
5 years, guys. Ancient history. Rome was not built in 5 years, my friend.
Those people pleaded guilty. They're part of the Guardian's office. That's such history that we're not here to relive that. You did 1980. If you're here to assault us on a 1980 basis, let's forget about it, because that is absolute nonsense.
Is it just me, or did he never reinvoke his attorney-client privilege? Because I'm feeling like this is all weirdly on the record here.
I'm here simply to ask questions.
All
Mr.
right.
Cooley.
You asked the same ones at 80. You want to deal in 85? Do you want to deal with ancient history?
Up to now, we are now almost an hour into our meeting, and I haven't asked but about 2 questions.
Oh, you'll get your opportunity, and then you'll get the opportunity to do the final cut, which is the power you have. But the position that we're taking here is that the very people you're going to parade on this show were oriented toward that GO, that Guardian's office. The crimes that were committed by the Guardian's office were acknowledged. The churches live with them. Those people have done their time. The David Miscaviges that you just referred to as being a young man, a young and very able man, and a small group of dedicated Scientologists purged that GO of the people that were committing the things that you are now going to resurrect as history to use against the president.
A small, dedicated group. I wonder who that could have been. Could that have been David Miscavige, and Mike Rinder, and Marty Rathbun, and, oh God, I'm forgetting names. And there's like 5 other people who were involved in that. Could it have been those guys?
Day church. It seems to me that if you allow me to take any religion in the history of the world, freeze it at a point in time, as TV is able to do with this show or another show, let me pick the point in history at which any religion will be judged. Let me pick the personnel who were in power at the time, and let me mock up a trial against them. I will take.
Now, he's very close to revealing he's a Scientologist by saying mock up a trial. No, thank you, Siri. Siri, stop. God, she's so nosy. She's listening right now. You do mock trials as a lawyer, but you do not mock up trials as a lawyer. Mocking up means creating. That is a Scientology Lafayette Ronald phrase. Earl just made an oopsie-doodles. He just revealed he's a Scientologist.
Judaism, I will take Buddhism, I will take Christianity, and I will take any religion, and I will convict it at that point in time of horrendous crimes. And then let me put it on a show with the prestige of 60 Minutes, and I will destroy it. That is not fair.
I mean, hey, I think that 60 Minutes should do, let's just examine the Spanish Inquisition. It really isn't doing well for Catholicism on that point, but people just kind of let that go, didn't they? But also that did happen hundreds of years ago. That is ancient history, not 5 years. Okay?
That is not what is meant by the First Amendment, and that is not what is meant by the responsibility of journalism.
Or one could take journalism and do the same thing.
Could be rolled out.
Oh, did you hear Heber get a dig in there about journalists? Did you hear it, guys? One could do that about journalism.
Middle of that, I hope not.
No.
Good. Excellent.
Okay.
Raymond Benoon. Requote, 1985.
You can get
You really want to make sure Heber's quaff looks good.
Are we missing this?
You're missing it all. They are C organization members, yes.
Yeah.
As am I.
Now I understand why you didn't want to come to New York.
You're darn right. The lure of New York. Not much there
I
for
know
me.
you would have had to charter a plane and bring all these folks with you. Of course, it would have been a shorter trip for Mr. Cooley, for the eloquent Mr. Cooley.
No, really, I think it's just as you said on the phone. I just wanted to add 7,000 miles to your life.
Yes. Wow.
You said you'd get even.
Vacation begins tomorrow. I don't know that I did, but anyway.
Martha's Vineyard. You can be there tomorrow?
Yes.
Roll camera.
God willing.
We'll have to let the Scientologists know.
Film roll 31, and be careful.
Arriving. Go ahead, Earl. You were.
Not a
I was
threat or
really
anything.
Commenting on comparative historic religion. If you take any established religion, bear in mind Scientology is only 35 years old.
Scientology is just a wee baby. We're gonna make a mistake. We're 35.
If you take any established religion, even comparatively young religions, such as the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints and Mormons.
Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints was almost... When was that formed? Shit. Hang on. No, you stupid thing. Oh my God. Okay, so the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints started April 6th, 1830. So a religion that is now almost 200 years old, okay? But in 1985, it was 155 years old. That's not the same. Not even close.
Terrible persecution driven from the state of Missouri over the mountains into Utah. Persecuted, looked upon as a sect, a cult, looked upon as dangerous. Now an established religion.
They are those things. Still.
To do to Mormonism what was done 100 years ago, today, 60 Minutes would not do, because it would immediately create a reaction that would be considered devastating. You wouldn't attack Christianity on the basis, for example, let's take the Catholic religion. You would not put on a show today, if you remember back when your former colleague Walter Cronkite was doing You Were There, or You Are There, and mock up the activity.
There's that word again. There's that phrase again. I never heard that outside of the walls of Scientology. Can anyone else confirm for me that that is just a Scientology term? That if it is used somewhere else, please let me know.
Of the curia of the Catholic Church, or mock up a trial of the Catholic Church for the activities that were committed during the Inquisition, or the sale of indulgences, which resulted in a spin-off of Lutheranism. Mock up a trial of the people who were then in the managerial control of those religions, freeze it in that point of time, and forever condemn it for its managerial activities then, rather than focusing upon its enormous theological benefits and gains over the years. That simply is unthinkable. But because Scientology is 35 years old, the courts of this country feel that it's all right to do that. Well, it isn't under the First Amendment.
Well, it's not a religion. They have franchises, and they are a corporation. So they don't have tax-exempt status. Just because you say it's a religion doesn't make it one.
The media in this country feel that it's all right to do that. Well, it isn't, because a religion is a religion. And you may feel comfortable doing it because it's Scientology and it's only 35 years old. But if it were Christianity, which is 2,000 years old, or Judaism, which is over 5,000 years old, or other established religions, it would be considered really counterproductive for the media to allow such a thing to happen.
You know and I know, Mr. Cooley. Well, maybe you don't know, but let me tell you that we do undertake not the specific study or the specific inquiry that you're talking about, but on 60 Minutes from time to time, we have come under very close scrutiny by various religions for doing just exactly what you say that we do not do. I was not very popular, for instance, in the American Jewish community because I undertook to do a story about the role of the Jewish minority in Syria. Indeed, the Jewish lobby went after me hot and heavy for a period of a couple of years after that broadcast. That has really very little to do with this. I would like to ask one question that's historical from that 1980 broadcast, with your permission. There was a young man by the name of Ken Whitman, who was at that time, he occupied the exalted post of president of Scientology, which you now occupy.
No, he had the office of the Church of Scientology president for the country of the United States.
And now you're international.
International.
Whatever happened to Kenneth Whitman?
He's here, living in Los Angeles, working.
No longer president?
Post, no longer president of the Church of Scientology of the United States. Chose to go back into private life.
Oh, he chose to go back into private life. So interesting. Let's see what happens here.
And David Gaiman, who I believe was the head of the public relations.
Oh, would that be Neil Gaiman's dad? Yes, it is.
Wing, based in the UK at the time.
The old Guardian's office, which has now been done away with, and he lives in St. Hill, as he's always lived.
And still a Scientologist?
Still a Scientologist.
Fine, but not...
Oh, interesting. So David Gaiman is A-OK, but the rest of the Guardian's office, evil.
Not
holding any post or office, no.
All right.
You miss them?
I'm just curious, period.
Right. Earl, you wanted to cover what that
When
$2 million...
I might not have appeared on this show until I learned the lineup that I understand is going to appear. Flynn, McMurray, Armstrong, Sullivan, Mayo.
Flynn, McMurray, Armstrong. I must be careful. It sounds like...
I have made a study of this traveling troupe.
He's made a study of these people. Right. No. I get the thing about mock-ups, right? Like what a mock-up for something is, or a mock trial, right? Those are nouns or adjectives. But using it as a verb, right? Is only a Scientological thing. Right? You're mocking up your own reactive mind. That's it right there. Sorry, I just said the clear cognition out loud. Now you guys are all clear. There we go.
Attackers against Scientology, and I've confronted each of them on cross-examination in Portland, Oregon. And I've studied their history in the church.
Hang on a second. The lawyer says he studied their history where? In the church. That would mean he had access to their confidential personnel files, to their ethics folders, to their priest penitentiary privileged auditing counseling folders. What the actual fuck?
These are the people, aside from the lawyers, McMurray and Flynn, these people that are former Scientologists are the people who lost in a power struggle commencing around July of 1981.
So these were the OG enemies of David Miscavige.
These are the people who, from the examination of the records and history that I've made of their presence in Scientology, I looked around, found the guardian's office in the church as the repository of power, decided to push toward that power, were aligned with and supportive of the people whose activities you have just outlined in some detail in the guardian's office, which has caused the church so much of the trouble and the bad public relations that it has experienced. These people, having been purged from the church, ran from the church and immediately accused the church, who purged them, of the very activities that they were supporting in their power push toward.
See, now he has very strict notes. Notice Heber reading his notes and making sure that Earl Cooley is on script.
The guardian's office.
None of the people, so that we can keep the record straight, that we're talking about now, none of them were involved in those illegal activities, and none of them went to prison.
That is
for
absolutely correct.
Illegal activities.
These people, at the point at which they were ascending the ladder, or were trying to ascend the ladder of power in the church on their power push, were all pointing toward the guardian's office. The guardian's office was viewed by them as the road to power. And they were, when the guardian's office was brought down.
Okay. Again, this was the internal, what he's describing right now is the internal struggle that happened in the late 70s, early 80s, which culminated in the Operation Snow White debacle, okay? Where the Guardian's office was like, fuck, shit's getting fucked up. Where's LRH? Where's Lafayette Ronald? We gotta get stuff back on track. And the Sea Org was like, dun, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you. Right? Because the Guardian's office being head by Mary Sue Hubbard, who had not seen her husband, okay, because he was away. They were trying to bring Scientology back to what it was supposed to be, what they were marketing it as, this help, right? Meanwhile, the Sea Org being pushed by, Tiny Tots, David Miscavige, making power moves to put himself right next to Lafayette Ronald at the Bluebird, in Creston, and acting as if he's speaking for L. Ron and doing these things, okay, destroyed the only protection that had been in place to protect him and Scientology from people like David Miscavige. Once the Guardian's office was dissolved and abolished and banished, the people who were there in the name of Lafayette Ronald and Mary Sue could no longer protect him and or Scientology, leaving a void which David Miscavige jumped on.
By David Miscavige and members of the Commodore's Messengers organization in 1981. It wiped out for these people the direction in which they were going. They floundered around looking for a new source of power, a new source of money acquisition, a new source of control. That's why they were around for a little bit longer. When it failed, they blew the church, or they were purged.
They blew. Whoops-a-doodles, Earl. Whoops-a-doodles.
And they left and went on the outside. And the first thing you know, they became paragons of virtue, accusing the management that had just cleaned up their act of the very crimes that they were supporting by their support of the rulers of the government.
See, so as soon as they left, they were like, this guy's a nightmare. They've fucked everything up. Where's Lafayette Ronald? We better start telling people what the fuck's what.
Guardian's office. Now they appear all over the country, attacking not only those activities, but every aspect of Scientology. Not only managerial approach,
but notice they also didn't get rid of everybody from the Guardian's office. They kept the very special, most dedicated ones. And that formed what, kids? That's right, the Office of Special Affairs. Yes. They kept people from Bureau 1, B2, the internal and external investigations, and ran with that.
They attack it from the point of view of theology.
Mr. Cooley, if indeed this traveling troupe that you characterize as such is so untrustworthy, why would a jury up in Portland, Oregon award them $39 million based at least partially on their testimony?
Because juries should not be judging religions.
What?
This is an obscenity under the Constitution of the United States.
It was not religion that was at issue, I believe, in that trial.
No, it wasn't. It was fraud.
It was the secular activities of Scientology that were on trial, no?
You are completely in error. Every aspect of Scientology, theologically and otherwise, was put under scrutiny, ridiculed, held up to hatred, ridicule, and contempt by these former Scientologists and by Julie Christophs and her council.
So because crimes and lies that Scientology promised that back in the 70s will cure your eyesight, you'll become more intelligent and better able to study, were proven lies in a court of law, that is fraud. It's a flim-flam scam, guys. It's fucking snake oil.
And the jury was allowed to judge a religion for its religious practices as well as for its managerial practices. That should never occur in any court in this United States. And that's what I meant, Mike, when I said to you, allow me to take any religion, freeze it in a point in time, pick which managers will go on trial, pick which activities in the history of the
It's like he's questioning a hostile witness right now.
Church will come under the microscope, and name any religion you want that's ever lived, and I will destroy it. The United States Constitution was designed to protect against that, and that's been violated. And it's been violated only because Scientology is 35 years old rather than 2,000 years old, and it was a heresy trial we were confronted with. Do you expect any juror in the United States to give a fair trial to ideas that are that appear contrary to its religious beliefs? These jurors were judging Scientology in a context of their own mindset. That isn't fair. It shouldn't be allowed.
All right. There was a Stuttgart decision in Germany, which I mentioned to you in a telex the other day. In fact, Garrett, do you have a copy of that?
Did they send 60 Minutes to telex? I don't think that's possible. I think they sent him a cable or perhaps a fax. But you definitely didn't telex 60 Minutes.
Stuttgart decision. This is interesting because basically in a land which gave rise to the annihilation of the
Ooh, this one's in a red folder. It's important.
6 million Jews, which changed its laws, which attacked new religions, in which the only organized movement against Hitler in 1934 occurred in a little town called Barmen in the Ruhr Valley, in which Pastor Niemöller, in which Erich Bonhoeffer, and a few others came up
I'm just going to name the cast of The Sound of Music now.
against, there was the only organized resistance to all of it. In that country, which did away with the laws governing religion, and then after the war, the laws were reconstituted, and religious freedom was
Mike Wallace is so frustrated right now, y'all. Just look at him.
instituted. It's interesting where they looked at this whole issue of bringing dissidents in here to basically attack religion. And I can say to you that they indicate in this document that you cannot have dissidents testifying against a church and get a fair trial.
What?
They don't. They have another purpose of being there than the exposition, the free interchange of ideas about what is a religion and what is not a religion. But
So you can't have former members testify because they are biased against the abuse they incurred at the hands of the people claiming to be religious. Gross.
even that should not be the issue, because America is the only country in the world that has that experiment of a First Amendment which allows that plurality of religion.
When are we going to be able, sir, really, to get to the interview?
Guys, for real, this is an hour and 34 minutes, and we are 50 minutes into it. And Mike Wallace has not asked his questions.
About 5 minutes, Earl, you want
I
to
mean,
cover
by your
that $2
own,
million check?
I am trying very religiously to...
Religiously, well, that's
yes,
good.
to abide by your ground rules.
Fine.
And we are abiding by them.
That's good.
And one of the ground rules was that you were going to lecture for about a half an hour. And now it's already 45 to 50 minutes.
Well, you asked a few questions in there.
I know, but
Oh.
can we begin?
Earl, you want to cover that $2 million check?
Yeah, I just want to.
Well, you'll have an opportunity in the course of the questions.
All right.
Look, questions are simply a device for you to get your views on the record, which is what we are after.
All right, you bring out the $2 million check, Cyber, we'll be all right.
Fine. Can we then begin now?
All right.
You want to cover anything else, sir?
No, that's all right.
Notice how they had to take pictures of Heber thumbing through that Stuttgart document so that they can then use that as a promotion later, how they showed this evidence to 60 Minutes.
We'll get to it.
All right, and if we don't get to it, you can bring it up at the end if that's agreeable.
That's
because
fine.
I'm an older man, and you know I may be at the meltdown stage very shortly.
I don't think so.
He tried to make the joke back to Earl Cooley, and Earl Cooley is not having it.
Okay. All right.
Here we go.
Stand by. Okay.
Oh, we're reloading again. Hold it
Sound
just a
roll,
second.
It's done.
Oh, it's
Sound
done?
roll 9,
Thank you very much.
Film roll 32, A and B camera marker.
Why,
Could I just ask this one question on
Surely.
FAMCO, which is not on the record?
Fucking Heber. I'm sorry. He's like, can I just ask this one thing? Even though you told me you're in charge now, I'm gonna take it right back.
It indicates that per Mr. Flynn, and he sent this out to a number of lawyers across the country, he also had this as a secret plan, which was basically to attack Scientology. He indicates the assistance of 60 Minutes and Mr. Moraines in accomplishing this. And he indicates the areas of potential attack, talking about the Guardian's office, talking about policies of the church out of context and so forth, talking about our claims and so forth, financial policies, so on and so on and so on. Is it your position then that this is just the mad maunderings of a person? He also indicates that he has the assistance of the members of the Internal Revenue Service and so forth. And
I know
So-
little about that, really. That is
But-
not I don't know what Mr. Flynn does. I am not inside Mr. Flynn's mind. He has been treated by us as a source along with other sources. On one occasion on the telephone, Mr. Jench, Reverend Jench, you said to me that Flynn had told you that I had tried to purchase stock or something.
That
of
he
the
had
sort.
offered stock in Famco to you is what he told me. What did he tell you?
The stock was never mentioned in any of our conversations. I was unaware of stock. But you told me,
He came up.
forgive me, you told me that I had was simply untrue. I have never had any discussion about stock in Famco, didn't know that stock was available in Famco. And as I told you, I believe I have had conceivably 10, 15 minutes with Mr. Flynn, period. Now, can we now go
So
to...
this plan, Flynn Associated Management Corporation, of dissecting, of assaulting the church, in which he indicates that Mr. Moraines and 60 Minutes are involved in assisting him in this process, you say that you know nothing about that.
Mr. Moranis and I are involved in trying to do a piece for 60 Minutes.
This is like literally classic, guys. I cannot get this off. I have completely fucked myself here. Hang on. I'm trying to look up what he's talking about, and it ended up taking up my whole screen because I'm trying to look up this organization that he's speaking about, right? This Flynn Famco, right? Because I don't know what this is. This is some Michael Flynn's thing. So now, okay, here we go. Sorry.
Period. And we are treating Flynn, Jench, Cooley, and the others whom we speak on this broadcast all in the same way, as potential sources of information so that we can do an accurate story.
And so
Period.
Famco has nothing to do with you personally.
Oh, Lord, no.
And 60 Minutes disowns any relationship to the Flynn Associated Management Corporation.
And by
Doctor,
relationship, you mean?
this operation against our religion, this plan of attack on the religion.
It is so ludicrous as to not even merit serious talk.
It's also a bad investment.
Well, that would not necessarily disqualify me. All right, now, can we go?
Let's go. Because you have to
Why
catch a
is it-
plane at 3 o'clock.
I had hoped 1 o'clock, but it looks like that's beyond belief. Now, the man behind you, L. Ron Hubbard, do you know him?
Yes,
See him?
never met him, but I know him.
Never met him. The president of the Church of Scientology.
Let that sink in for a minute. Heber Jench, the president, the Church of Scientology International, never met Lafayette Ronald.
Never met the man?
You know, that's an interesting question. I would like to meet Mr. Hubbard, and I probably will sometime. But I know him, I think, better than most people will ever know him, because I know him through his books, and I know him through the counseling I've received, and I know him through what he has done in my life. So I know that man very, very well. Have you ever read a book about Scientology?
Yes.
Which one?
Why?
Which one?
Please.
Which book?
I have read in Scientology, I've read Dianetics, but really, this
The
is...
full book.
I don't want to suggest that I went to sleep from time to time during the reading of the book, but really,
It's because you had
let's
misunderstood words.
Oh,
really.
Earl Cooley, once again. This is like what? I think we should start a drinking game. Every time Earl Cooley fucks up and reveals that he's actually a Scientologist, we should all take a shot. What is that, the 6th time now? Yeah, Heber Jench never met Lafayette Ronald. Nope.
I have, up to now, tried to live by your ground rules. Now I would like you to live by the ground rules, which were implicit between us.
Right.
And that is that this is going to be my interview of you, Mr. Jench, assisted when you become inarticulate by your friend Cooley.
Oh, I see. That's the old split, divide, and conquer
They'll never
concept.
split us. Never.
No, I think we're together for a long time.
All right.
Go ahead, Mr. Wallace.
I'm
Do your best.
I'm asking you what manner of man, but you
What manner of man? I think he's probably one of the greatest men that ever lived. I think that what you see and hear all through this place are recognitions for what he has done in the area of drug rehabilitation, what he has done in the areas of education, the recognition of cities and mayors and governors and so forth, and individuals whose lives have been changed. And I think you can always, in this particular society, go out and find someone. I'm sure there are a few people who do not like Mike Wallace. I imagine you could scratch a few and find a few. I don't know whether Westmoreland thinks a great deal about you right now. Maybe you become friends. I don't know. But I'm sure that any person who is in the public eye can have people who are adverse to his existence and what he's doing. But Mr. Hubbard, unequivocally, has impacted this civilization, in my estimation, more greatly than anyone I've ever met.
Why has he not met you, him? Why is he a recluse?
A recluse? No, I think he's a man, as they decided in the Riverside court, that he has a right to privacy.
Yeah, why is he a recluse? Where's the leader of Scientology? Where did Lafayette Ronald go? Why can nobody find him?
America. This is not Russia. And he has a right to privacy. This man is concerned with research on the areas of the human spirit. He's done it his whole life. It's been his life's work to assist people. And he's chosen to take a little sabbatical and do that, and to continue writing. You know that he has bestsellers on the bestseller lists last year, all over the country, all over
He's still writing. He's got some bestsellers.
the world.
When did
He's
he
a very
last
well
appear
published.
when did he last appear in public?
Oh, I would say it was probably 4 or 5 years ago.
Where?
California. He was doing films in California.
The last time he appeared in public was for a birthday event. I believe it was 1980.
Shooting films for the Church of Scientology, a number of people working with him.
Is it conceivable that you would make him available, or he might become available for this broadcast?
I wouldn't want Mr. Hubbard, I can't speak for him, first of all. I don't think he'd be interested. I don't think this is a show that's concerned with religion that much. And I don't think it's a show in which, I think when Mr. Hubbard decides, Mr. Wallace, to make an appearance, it's going to be a much larger appearance than something like 60 Minutes.
Yeah. This broadcast happened in the beginning of 1985. And then the next year, less than a year later in January, he was deed. He was busy in Creston getting, antipsychotic shots by Dr. Gene Dink and, touching grass and not showering or cutting his hair or fingernails. Very normal stuff.
Does he run the Church of Scientology or any of its subsidiary organizations?
No, and you'll find all these dissidents who leave and they'll scream and yell. And they'll say, well, yeah, he really does. And what I find fascinating about this, 6 million people, 600 organizations, and what they're saying is, this man can run it all by himself. I think that's phenomenal. And I think that he has great abilities.
Does he have no role in the running of the Church of Scientology or any of its subsidiary organizations?
I have the office of wearing the hat, of signing the checks, of opening the account.
The hat. Guys, he's got the hat. Signing the checks. There we go.
Counts as every single church around the world. Each person has that responsibility, has the corporate responsibilities.
Oh. Heber slipped up, called them a corporation.
And what we are bound together by, which I think the public doesn't understand, is that there are basic policies, and it comes back to what Scientology is, a workable capability to change the conditions in one's life. We have policies written by Hubbard, which gives anyone the capability to run a church.
Okay, so it's a workable capability to change conditions in your life. I'm still not hearing religion. What's up, Pearl?
Develop a church, to expand the religion, etc. So in that sense, Mr. Hubbard's influence is very strong.
You still follow Hubbard policy?
Absolutely.
When he says about fair game, or it is published by him,
hot dog.
People may be deprived of property or injured by any means by any Scientology without any discipline of the Scientologist, may be tricked, sued, lied to, or destroyed. That's Hubbard policy.
Oh! Fucking mic drop from Mike Wallace right there. Love that for him.
That's pursuant to FAMCO and Mr. Flynn,
No,
which
no,
you
no.
used. No, that's pursuant to FAMCO.
I have
And-
here the Hubbard Communications Office,
Yes.
St. Hill Manor, East
Oh, got an actual policy letter. Let's look at Heber's face. He's like, God damn it.
Grinstead, Sussex. Policy letter, 18 October
1967.
1967,
Which you knew
signed by L. Ron
Yes.
Hubbard.
Let's get into this.
Okay, ready? Ready, here we go, guys. He wants to grab it from him, from his grimy, woggy hands.
I love this. You take this out of context, you know.
It's a whole policy. How can you take that out of context?
It's a brilliant ploy in terms of PR and
Again, not denying that that is the policy, that it was written by L. Ron, and that they still do it. Now, we're going to just talk about what a piece of shit you are as a journalist.
terms of
Whose?
yours, where you take it out of context. You talk about something called fair game and so forth. You take something
Oops, sorry.
which has been rescinded years ago.
Oh, it was rescinded. Did they actually rescind it? Right. They just put it into the confidential OSA files, right? Into that.
And you know what's interesting? You know who people who cry fair game on this sort of thing? Say that there's this thing called fair game. You know who's screaming about it? These people.
Oh.
These people here. When we go,
Yeah, Mike wants
we do
his
something like
paperback.
this.
Oh, look at all these folders, guys. Look at this nonsense fucking theater that Heber's putting on.
Where we take apart an agency called Interpol. And we find out that the leader of Interpol
So now we're going to attack Interpol.
is a British Foreign Intelligence Office thing. Here's a letter from Simon Wiesenthal to me on these particular Nazis who are involved.
On fair game?
Oh, they claim, you know, Interpol calls it fair game. When we expose the fact that SS officers running Interpol are working in this country where they can take your file, my file, where they work with Russian countries, where they work with known terrorist nations and so forth.
Let's see. We did Nazis, Russians, terrorists, all in one sentence. Congrats. Hey, Heber hitting his bingo card tonight.
And we expose, well, wait a minute, let me finish, because you're saying it's terrible to expose this.
No,
You're
I'm
saying
asking the question.
They claim that that's fair game, and I'll tell you this. We're going to continue to expose the CIA. That's not even this is not even in.
Look at him snatch it. Look at him snatch it from Mike Wallace's hands. That's something that every Scientologist has read, guys.
Extent right now. And of course, you know, this is a replay of 1985. I told you he'd bring this up. You
No, it's a replay of 1980. Heber's so upset. He said 1985.
know,
May I-
Alan Moranis got a hold of this from who? From Flynn. Wait a minute, it's right here in FAMCO. You've got
We got to talk about FAMCO, fam.
to follow your FAMCO plan, and there it is, fair game.
It is a
So
court.
you're right back to
It
it.
is a court.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah, and that was admitted into court. That's where he got it. He got it from the FOIA request.
And when
it's a canceled policy, Mike.
it says cancellation of fair game, Mr. Cooley, the practice of declaring people fair game will cease. Fair game may not appear on any ethics order. It causes bad public relations.
It's your
Yes, that's what Lafayette Ronald said.
Darn right,
It's
because you people don't understand it.
And wait just a moment.
You people don't understand it.
Mike, you
Then-
don't understand it.
then just
you
a
don't
moment.
understand it.
May
The
I
guy-
just
Heber is heated.
continue
let me
one
finish,
more line?
because it's out of context.
May I please continue one more line?
Well-
as long as it's out of context, I'll give you an opportunity to explain it.
I'll give you an opportunity to continue your out of
This
context.
policy letter does not cancel any policy on the treatment or handling of an SP, a suppressive person. So what the cancellation is, in word, because it causes bad public relations. Fine.
I knew you had to go back to FAMCO.
You're part of it.
Just, you know,
Fucking Mike Wallace. Just shoved it right up their ass because that's what that means in plain English. It just means you can't officially call it that. You can't put an ethics order out from internal and say, we're fair gaming Joe today. The practice of fair gaming was never canceled. Just the words. Fair game. Thank you, Mike Wallace. Chef's kiss.
I knew it. It is.
15 or 20 other news organizations.
That's unimportant.
So Heber's going to go back to FAMCO. And now his producer, Mike Wallace's producer, is like, we gotta move on to something else.
It's right here.
Let's get the makeup going again. Bring the ladies in. Show some ass to Mike Wallace. Let's get the tits and ass in there. Calm Earl down. See, every time the momentum starts going in Mike Wallace's favor, they bring the makeup bitches in. Right? Because they want to try and fuck with him. This is all just fucking with him. No one has ever had this much makeup put on, ever, during any production of anything, ever.
Quick piece of paper.
Attack the attack.
Heber needs another reference. Look at Earl. Earl is so pissed right now. He's not even enjoying the TNA moment for him. There's the Scientology camera guy getting his mark.
Okay.
Film roll 33, NB camera marker only.
So, this policy letter does not cancel any policy on the treatment or handling of a suppressive person. The fair game policy was canceled for bad public relations, but then, L. Ron Hubbard says, but keep treating people whom we call suppressive persons the same way that you've been treating them before.
That's a completely erroneous reading of that sentence in that paragraph.
Actually, it's a very accurate and perfect reading of that sentence. And it's like Mike Wallace speaks English.
Completely erroneous and corrupt and distorted. And that's the kind of treatment that I object to. The words in that sentence do not say what you have just characterized them as saying. And I
Actually, they say exactly that.
don't know how you can reach that conclusion.
But as a lawyer, you're doing a great job. Just keep yelling about it.
It says cancellation of the policy.
No, just cancels the words.
It then explains the reason that the policy is canceled.
Bad
And unless
public
you are
relations.
able to, what's that?
Bad
Of
public
course, that's a
relations.
perfectly legitimate reason to cancel something
Not for
because
fairness, not for decency, but for bad public relations.
Yeah, not because it's gross, not because it's indecent, but because it's bad PR. Oh, look at Earl's getting heated. Heber's got to come in.
Oh, let me deal with this. Let's just go back to your own religion, the Jewish tradition, and let's go
Let's go back to attacking Jews.
back 3,000 years from the Talmud and say something which could be taken out of context and look far more evil and far more colored than what you're doing. Rabbi Eliezer said, and David said to Saul, according to the law, you deserve to be slain since you are a pursuer. And the Torah has said, if one comes to kill you, rise up and kill him first. But let's go further. The Torah decreed, if he comes...
Here we go. We're going to use the Jewish words about what to do when under attack for thousands of years, being chased throughout planet Earth as a defense of Scientology trying to crush with every ounce of its multi-billion-dollar weight anyone who is no longer part of it and annihilate them.
To slay thee, forestall by slaying him. Let's go to Exodus 2, 11, 14. When Moses had grown up, he went out to his kinfolk and witnessed their toil. He saw an Egyptian beating a Hebrew. He struck down the Egyptian and hid him in the sand. Moses in Egypt was attacking the attacker or something like that. And
Moses saw a fucking Egyptian attempting murder. Moses stepped in and murdered the shit out of that asshole and then was like, we're done with it. Don't fucking do that shit, guys. But we're going to call that attacking the attacker. Moses saving somebody's life in the desert.
if you want to take the Maccabees, who managed to beat back huge armies, redeem their capital city, preserve their culture, and so forth, I can take it out of context and make it look very, very suspicious. Mr. Wallace. How do you want to respond to that? Now, I can just take it and turn it back to you and say, you're a Jew. How do you respond to this thing? I don't think that's fair.
You're a Jew. You're a Jew. What a fucking anti-Semite piece of shit.
I think that is a despicable activity by anyone to take it out of context. And I can go through the whole Bible and lift it out and make it look just as crazy, just as weird as you're trying.
Well, the Bible is crazy and weird. I know that's a controversial statement, but there's a lot of weird shit in
to do here with millions and millions of words in print on a religion.
He really wants Mike Wallace to like freak out on him. He was hoping for a John Sweeney moment right here.
And you can take out 2 words or you can take out a sentence and you can somehow try to bring it down to that. I think that's a disservice to you. I think you're far more intelligent than that. But I think you ought to take a look at the mitzvah. I think you ought to take a look at these old writings.
As if Mike Wallace wasn't bar mitzvahed, as if he doesn't know his own religion. This is what Heber's doing. Like, I'm an expert on all religion because we are the religion of religions. And I'm going to tell you about your religion and what you should know about it.
Of the Hebraic tradition, and realize that throughout the history of religion, there's been attacks by government and so forth. Do you think this, how do you look at this? Do you want to do the same thing to this that you're doing with the policies of Scientology?
May we go on to another?
Mike is unbothered, y'all.
No response.
Policy letter of 15 August 1960.
Ooh.
Page 484.
25 years.
Yeah, we're going to go back 25 years.
Well, you say that the Hubbard policy is still in effect.
Well, have you run that policy forward to make sure it hasn't been canceled?
I'm going to ask the president of the church. If attacked on some
Earl is so upset.
Vulnerable point by anyone or anything or any organization, always find or manufacture enough threat against them to cause them to sue for peace. Peace is bought with an exchange of advantage. So make the advantage and then settle. Don't ever defend. Always attack. Don't ever do nothing. Unexpected attacks in the rear of the enemy's front ranks work best.
That policy is not canceled. But let's see what Heber has to say. See if he tries to snatch it out of Mike Wallace's hand again.
And it has more, doesn't it?
Oh, it
Look at he's snatching it. Snatch.
has a great deal more.
Yes. And what it says is never put the organization on weight, etc. To win, we must have treasure and verve.
Treasure is money, and verve is
vitality and strength.
fun.
Treasure can also be spiritual value.
Verve can also be spiritual value. Earl, that is a stretch even for a, bus bench ad and, fucking ambulance chasing lawyer. Come on.
And I will tell you this, when I was put on the IRS enemies list in 1973, and I found what it was like to be the brunt of an attack of an agency of that much viciousness. I mean, I could call them fascist or Nazi in terms of what they really are, but I would probably get sued by the fascists and Nazis for comparing them to something so despicable as the IRS.
So he is saying that the IRS is worse than fascists and Nazis.
But when I see that sort of thing happening and that sort of assault coming on our church, you bet your life we're going to go back into the courts and we're going to fight for it, Mr. Wallace.
So yes, this one is valid.
And in addition,
No denial.
to see that the IRS, in its own
Now we're going to attack the IRS.
court records, in which one of our churches it judged against, in its own particular courts, and I don't call them duly constituted courts, admitted to intelligence operations against this church for 7 or 8 years that they would talk about for a non-tax purpose. That kind of thing, yes, we're going to attack.
Heber's trying to be strong here.
It. You know, the Mormons, there was an edict put out by the governor in Illinois, only rescinded in 1979, which said to kill them on sight. I hope you've read about Hans Mill Massacre, where they killed men, women, and children indiscriminately. Somebody has to do something. And we have fought it in the courts, and we have fought it in the arena of public debate, and we have taken it to the people, and I think you'll find that there's support for us. You may not like our religion. You may try to castigate it. You may try to denigrate it. You may try to bring down the image of Mr. Hubbard, but you cannot change what has happened in the hearts and minds of every single Scientologist who has had benefit from this man and what he's done. That doesn't change it. You may try to characterize it with 9 or 10 dissidents and try to bring that up and bring it in a sort of a focus onto one small screen and make a change on that. You can't change that either. And you can take it out of context all you want. You can follow this FAMCO plan right down to the final letter, as we're doing here right now in your presentation. It doesn't change it.
Can I address attack the attacker for a moment? That's the issue you were just raising, was it not?
Oh, good. Now Earl's going to chime in. Here we go.
Attack the attacker is nothing more than an expression of how to deal with a situation when you are assaulted by just about every foul means that could be raised against you. Your religion is assaulted.
That's, for instance, what foul means.
When you are smeared, just a moment.
By.
When
It's just an expression. You know, it's like when the mob says he sleeps with the fishes. It's just an expression of like his adoration for aquatic life and his now proximity to that aquatic life. I mean, right? It's not that's what that means.
by federal agencies, by
How about fellow Scientologists?
how about defected Scientologists who have left the church in a disappointed way after an attempt to take over the power.
So defective Scientologists who are disappointed, left in a disappointed way after trying to take over. Is that every person? I never once tried to take over. I did have no such aspiration.
Power, the money and the control of the church, and now find themselves out of a job and out of power. They attack.
That's the reason.
Are there incentives at all under scrutiny, Mr. Wallace?
What is the power? What is the money that they're after?
They were after control of the church through the guardian's office.
Look at him using his fist here. This is a very aggressive stance. This is fight. This is I'm violent.
Which they perceived as the best avenue to that control. After all,
To what end?
to what end? Mr. Hubbard, as you may be aware, is 74 years of age.
74 years of age. My God.
People who have power on their minds look forward to what might happen if a power vacuum is suddenly created and they are there to seize it at the appropriate time.
Could that be like David Miscavige?
And at
Mr.
that
Truly,
point in time, the assets and the wealth of the church come under their centralized control.
Two questions.
Which
First,
is what Jerry
two-
Armstrong was saying in
Please.
his surreptitious interview, which was taken to this man, and saying that the IRS would assist
Go
him.
ahead.
Two questions. Does Mr. Hubbard run the church?
Mr. Hubbard does not run the church in a managerial sense.
No, he made policies turning that all over in the early 80s.
But as you know, Mr. Hubbard is the source of all technology, to use a different word, theology.
This is the most impassioned Scientology speech I've ever heard. I've never even heard David Miscavige speak this passionately about Scientology.
As that source, Mr. Hubbard is the revered founder of this church. Since he is the author of the theology which these people live by, of course, he is the leader and the man who is revered in a theological sense. He does not manage this church in any respect, and I can tell you that because I reviewed the documents.
So, these people, these dissidents, who are after overturning Miscavige and the brokers and the Gentches and the various other people.
Well, they were overturned by them, and now they're on the outside attacking because they've got nowhere else to go, and they have almost $1 billion in lawsuits against this church, which gives them a pretty good incentive to attack.
And they're after the power and the money.
They lost that. Now they're outside attacking. They're the losers in the power struggle.
I say they are.
They're the losers.
They continue to be after the power and the money, or they were after the power and the money?
They're after it now through lawsuits.
How much money?
Oh, I would say the total amount now is close to $1 billion.
1985. $1 billion.
Is out there in litigation, which these people are the dog and pony witnesses that run around the country with have testimony will travel.
And how much money does the church possess?
I have no idea. And furthermore, even if I did, I wouldn't tell you. It's none of your business.
Oh, Earl Cooley's mad. But he almost fucked up again, guys. He almost said how much money Scientology has. Oh, my goodness. Oops. Don't do things, Nora. Stop it.
How much do you possess, Mike? No, is that a fair question? In other words,
fair question. And when we do our interview, I'll give you an answer.
But it's like, see, now we got to turn the question around here. How much money do you have, Mike? He should have said, not as much as you guys.
No, but you
All right,
would say
now,
I could ask you these questions.
No,
but
Omar Garrison,
a friend of yours.
At one time, members of the church told 60 Minutes that Mr. Garrison was an objective, honest reporter.
Who were those members?
He's written several books.
Whoa! Who are those members? That's like the guy who went up to me and was like, where do you live? The guy that attacked Laura. By the way, if anybody knows who that man is, please identify him and send that to Laura.
Books that were rather supportive of Scientology and its apparent plight.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Whatever happened to the Church of Scientology and Omar Garrison?
Well, you spoke with Mr. Garrison, obviously.
I'm asking for your point of view, Reverend Gentry.
Right. And what does Mr. Garrison say? What's his view of this?
He has some interesting things to say.
Mm-hmm.
He says that a good many of the things that he believed about L. Ron Hubbard simply were untrue.
Uh-oh. He found out about Lafayette Ronald's lies.
And when he began to find that they were simply untrue,
oh my goodness,
he looked more deeply and became somewhat disillusioned. For instance, Hubbard's claim that he fought in 5 theaters in World War II, false. Never fought in any theater of World
War. Wow. Look at Mike Wallace dropping the truth bombs here in this interview. Look at Earl Cooley. Gonna reach across that table and smack him.
Are you attributing that to Mr. Garrison?
Just a moment.
Statement?
Just a
Garrison?
Our ground rules require you to furnish us with the documentation on which you're basing questions, and I'd like to see it.
You said that you would in a telex to us. Now, if you want to...
Oh, see, as soon as truth about Lafayette Ronald's military records, which are public, now them's fighting words.
Make these allegations, I think you're being sandbagged by your own researchers.
Sandbag again, Scientology term.
You want to make the allegations, show me the documentation that shows that that's false.
Here we go.
Not
First of all,
sure.
I want to make certain, Mike, because you've made a quantum jump here. You've swung into some questioning here, and I want to make sure I understand. Are you attributing that statement to Garrison, that Garrison said that is a false statement that he found in his research?
Mr. Garrison and I spoke. I do not have a transcript of the Garrison interview in front of me. If indeed we have it, I will give you word for word what he told me, because you wanted documentation, and then you can handle it as such.
His poor assistant. They're so mad. Don't get distracted, Mike Wallace. Stay on target.
don't you give it to me, Alan?
Let me take a break. I want to get unwired so I make a visit.
Earl's got to take a shit.
Yeah, I got it. No, yeah, I got to take a break. I must.
I'm turtling. I've got a turtle head poking out.
Earl wants to get up there.
Hang on. See what other audio happens here.
Do we have a copy? Oh, the transcript?
I'll give it. I'll give you the book, chapter, and verse. Hmm? Hmm?
I think what is that issue at the settlement that Garrison made in terms of some of that.
What's going to happen next? I don't want to try and fast forward through this because I feel like there's going to be other like.
You were doing your own show back at
He had a page DM from the ship.
Mike Wallace interviewed.
He's got a telex in
That
there.
was on ABC.
He's got a toilet telex.
Night duty prior to that in 56 and 57. And then
1985.
Mike Wallace interview on 57, 58.
I don't know if the stream, the picture's dropping out, but we're still
30
here.
years.
Oh, I've been doing this for longer than that.
You doing radio before that or what?
I've been in radio since 1939.
39?
Just him getting his life history here.
When I got out of the University of Michigan.
You ever know Fred Allen?
I met Fred, but I didn't know him, no.
I've always kind of, I mean, I used to listen to him in the 30s and the early 40s. And I
Yep.
always kind of regretted not ever meeting that guy. I thought he was such an incredible wit to him.
True. It's true.
So he gave rise to a lot of
Very capable people.
Oh, picture's back. Cooley's still
You don't have an extra copy of that, Alan?
dropping the kids off at the pool.
It's a joke. I just fresh water.
I've been out in the field a couple of times.
I'm glad my poop jokes keep you guys entertained.
How many questions do you have, approximately?
You know something? I would be through now were it not for that.
You know, Mr. Wallace, when you come to a church, you have to listen to the sermon before you get a chance to talk.
Yes. And now this is the collection time. Is that it? Yeah.
No, the collection time comes later.
Well, they have a ashtray on the table, guys. I thought we were going to see somebody light up here, but nobody
Yes, it
took
is.
use of it.
Okay.
Thank you for being here, Beck. We're almost done with this one, but
Here
thank
we
you.
go. The gentleman.
Oh,
You feeling
Earl's
better?
back.
I feel fine.
Good.
Earl, I missed you. Can we
Hook me up again.
hook up Earl, please?
Yeah, we all know that was a lie.
Roll camera.
I don't know where they're filming this. It's at some location. I guess
A&B
at the time
camera.
it must have
Roll
been
34,
the
marker.
Celebrity Center.
All right.
Probably would be my guess.
You know, of course, that we interviewed Omar Garrison.
We were informed of that, yeah.
Mr. Moraine's mentioned that, or Moranis.
He claimed he fought in 5 theaters in World War II, is my question. Garrison, not true. Did he fight in any theater in World War II? It depends on what you mean by theater. No combat theater. Well, I'll take that back. Early on, he was, and then he said parenthetically, and again, I'm limited as to what I can say, you understand. Understood. Early on, he was sent out to Australia, and at that time, while this was not considered a combat theater, he did serve abroad. He claimed that he commanded a squadron of corvettes. Not true. Claimed he was crippled and blinded in war. Not true. Matter of medical record, he was twice pronounced dead. Hold just a moment, and then you can go through the whole thing. That I have found no documentation to support, but I can't say whether it's true or not. He was the first casualty of the war? Not true. Flown home in the Secretary of Navy's private plane?
Can you guys imagine trying to claim to be the first casualty of World War II? Can you imagine trying to have the fucking brass cojones to be like, not only was I injured, I was the very first casualty.
Not true. Awarded 28 medals and palms, including the Purple Heart? I have no documentation to support that claim. He was fully healed and reclassified for full combat duty? That I don't know. I have examined his naval records. Some of them are somewhat ambiguous. I don't think the Navy has always been that clear either. Does he receive a disability to this day from the U.S. government? Disability payment? It's my understanding that he does. Is he an atomic or nuclear physicist? Of course not.
Of course not.
Did he travel with Tibetan bandits? I have no documentation or have never seen in any extensive research that he did. So what you're saying, my question, is that all of the official biography put out by the Church of Scientology about the background of L. Ron Hubbard is simply shot full of holes. Mr. Garrison answers in a deposition which I was taken under oath and which I have here. That question was asked me, and I said, it is my estimate that 80% of it is false. Well,
80% of the biography, by one person's estimation after doing independent research, getting the military record, all that other stuff, is false.
This is the man who leads the church? Answer, yes. Yes, it is.
Are you through?
Go ahead.
Are you through? Those are direct quotes from Mr. Garrison.
Yes, sir.
On the interview that's going to appear or has been.
I don't know that it's going to appear.
All right. First of all, I'd like to advise you for your own benefit that those statements by Mr. Garrison constitute a serious breach of a contract that Mr. Garrison had with the Church of Scientology and makes
A contract that states...
I'm not going to go into what it states. I'm just going to advise you that there is such a contract. And that furthermore, CBS is now a party to inducing him to breach that contract. But we'll deal with that in another context.
We're
the point of the matter is, on the substance of what he has had to say there, let me ask you, are you aware of the fact that there are more than one set of military records on Mr. Hubbard? Have you
This is another false narrative that Scientology has put forth, that there's an additional secret square set of military records about Lafayette Ronald.
determined, have you looked at any of his military records?
More than one set of
Yes,
military
sir.
records, official military records.
Yeah, and that his military records have been doctored. Are you aware of that?
By
God knows whom?
I would like to see the doctored
Well, then
records.
I
That would be
invite
So the answer isn't that Lafayette Ronald's a complete megalomaniac fucking liar. It's that they doctored the records. They doctored the records.
very useful.
I invite you. Do we have the Prouty material?
Yes, I have the Prouty affidavit right here. So
I,
let me.
Just a moment. We're going to furnish
right
you for your benefit because we know, at least we take at face value, your statement that you want to investigate all aspects of the allegations that are being made.
Here we go.
We have material from a person by the name of Fletcher Prouty, whose background, experience, and training eminently qualify him to make
Totally not a made up name. Fletcher Crowdy.
render an opinion on military records.
Hmm.
L. Ron
What is his background and experience? Oh, we're not going to tell you that. His name is Fletcher Crowdy.
Hubbard was in intelligence, as I'm sure you know.
Oh, he was in intelligence. He's a spy. Like the CIA, MK Ultra stuff that I keep telling you that Scientology's based on.
During World War II. And Mr. Prouty, on an analysis of those records, has concluded that there are sets of inconsistent records.
An official guy says it's inconsistent and wrong. Interesting.
On L. Ron Hubbard that cannot be reconciled, that it is not uncommon when one has been in an intelligence position, and that those records, in his opinion, cannot be reconciled as to the inconsistencies that appear in them. Now, we know that L. Ron Hubbard had no control over what the intelligence chiefs and bosses and brass did with respect to his records.
So it was out of L. Ron's hands. It wasn't his fault. Laura, I heard the same thing the first time, but it's Crowdy. Yeah, that freaked my freak a little bit too.
But I would commend you to Mr. Proud.
Oh, Proudy. We're both wrong. It's Proudy. Thank you, Jeff. He advised Oliver Stone on JFK. Wow. Proudy was U.S. military. So they paid him. Okay, sure. Makes sense. Oh, my goodness.
His affidavit before you rely on any portion of Mr. Garrison's statements concerning Mr. Hubbard's military record. Mr. Garrison, and then I would also ask you, when Mr. Garrison says, I have no documents that so
He almost flipped the table, guys. Did you see the table lift up?
indicate, I would like to know what research Mr. Garrison did to
This is how shitty the Scientology places were. He leaned on the table too forcefully and it like lifted.
obtain such documents. And until one examines the underlying approach taken by Mr. Garrison, one really cannot weigh the value, the credibility, and the validity of his conclusions. If you want to go by them one by one, I'll be happy to deal with them and give you what my conclusions are based upon my examination of the records.
Well, why don't we go, as you suggest, to the records apparently that L. Fletcher Prouty has at least give me an opportunity to examine them.
Yeah.
And then you can give me other materials so that I can examine your material.
Now, there's one other one that I'd like to deal with specifically, just a moment. And that's this nuclear physicist. Is that stated in there by Garrison?
Uh-oh. They're going to get so mad about this.
I say, well, this is only the tip of the iceberg. Is he an atomic or nuclear physicist?
All right.
Mr. Garrison's answer, of course not.
Of course not.
Mr. Hubbard never claimed to be a nuclear physicist.
I'm sorry. For all of the people who participated willingly or unwillingly in Scientology in the audience right now, how many times did you hear that Lafayette Ronald was a nuclear physicist? Is it more than 5? Is it more than 10? Is it more than 50? Is it so many I lost count? Please answer that survey. Thank you.
Apocryphal designation was not of his doing and was perpetuated by a direct violation of his orders by Laurel Sullivan, whom I understand you've also interviewed.
Not
Laurel Sullivan was instructed by L. Ron Hubbard in his own handwriting to purge that statement that he was a nuclear physicist from any biography of him that was ever published.
Yeah, get that out of there.
That instruction from L. Ron Hubbard appeared in his own handwriting, was communicated to her, and she was supposed to be his personal public relations officer.
Was she?
Yes, she was, and she was supposed to be following his orders.
Had his confidence?
I would assume that she did. A lot of people who had his confidence stabbed him in the back, but we'll get to that later.
A lot of people stabbed him in the back. That's why he's an insane person in Creston. I mean, he's just a person who wants privacy.
This is a pretty good time to understand why Laurel Sullivan, you allege, stabbed L. Ron Hubbard in the
I'd
back.
like to finish this particular thing that she did before we get on to that. She, in the face of his instruction in 1977 that denomination of nuclear physicists be deleted, was asked to pass upon a jacket that was to appear on a book that was coming out in another.
The denomination. Nuclear physicists don't have denominations. They're not separate religions.
Edition that called him a nuclear physicist. A memorandum went to her saying to her, should we take this off the jacket of the book? She deliberately disobeyed his instructions and sent a memo back saying, do not delete it. It'll just invite attention to it at this time.
What?
And that action on her part unilaterally overruled his instruction that he did not want that to continue to be perpetuated, that it had grown up as a myth, that he wanted it eliminated, and she disobeyed his instructions.
Guys, this is not just one place where Lafayette Ronald claims to be a nuclear physicist. It is so many places. The Freedom Lectures is one. It's still in there.
And now people come around saying he's held himself out as a nuclear physicist.
Yes.
Just a moment. Let's have those radiation tapes.
Let's have those radiation tapes. These are the tapes, lectures that go along with the book, all about radiation.
These tapes of L. Ron Hubbard's own voice have been available for years and years to students of Scientology, to Laurel Sullivan, to Jerry Armstrong, and to anyone else. If you will take the trouble to listen to the tape, you will find that LRH, in his own voice, in these...
Nobody who is not a Scientologist calls Lafayette Ronald LRH. Only Scientologists call him that. I think we're all drunk now.
lectures, in a very self-deprecating, modest way, says, I got the lowest grade in nuclear physics, and the only one that got a lower grade didn't take the course. He is...
Yeah, it's the only place that he admits he got an F.
Never pretended to be a nuclear physicist, and it is ridiculous, ludicrous, and obscene.
Look, they just gave him free tapes. Mike Wallace is going to take the swag.
To use that as a charge against him.
Did he fight or travel with the Pygmies or the Tibetan bandits?
I wasn't there, and I don't know. But he traveled all over the world, and he's had more unusual experience as a traveler than any man who ever lived. And he might very...
He has more experience than anyone who ever lived, even Jesus Christ. Stacy, that's Earl Cooley, the lawyer.
Very well have, but legend may grow up, and he's the first one to admit it. Legend, rumor, grows up around any charismatic leader, any leader in the world.
All the legends and rumors are attributed to charismatic leaders. That's fine. That's normal.
Particularly any religious leader. And if he were to spend his time attempting to refute every allegation made against him, good and bad, he would have no time to write the technology and to develop the philosophy that has helped millions and millions of people. He has not even taken the time.
He wouldn't have the time if he was refuting all these things that are completely true to continue to bamboozle people all around the world.
To respond to and write against the lies against him that are adverse to him.
Did you see the film
Hey,
done?
hang on 1 second.
Wait just a moment, please.
No, let me just add
Please,
to this.
Reverend Jen.
You've got Laurel
Please, Reverend Jench.
Sullivan is a quote and Mr. Garrison is a quote, and you've accepted it as gospel. In her own words here on the 10 June 1981 about this thing about physicists, she says, I have trepidations about changing nuclear physicists, as to do so admits there was something wrong with it. But on the other hand, I cannot document a degree for him in the subject. Therefore, as a physicist by definition is a scientist who specializes in physics, and scientist by definition is an expert in science, and degrees are not really mentioned, I guess we will be able to use nuclear physicists with that alone. It's
I'm sorry, what?
lousy documentation, but it will have to do, so leave it as nuclear physicists.
That's 4 years after she was told to delete it by LRH.
Exactly. So, you know,
That's 4 years. She's still making it happen.
you pick this up.
May
She
I?
handles.
May
yes.
I now? May I?
You may go ahead.
Thank you. L. Ron
Well,
Hubbard.
wait a minute. How do you respond to that?
I'm
show
going
you.
Oh my God. But Heber forgot that he let him have control there for a second.
I'm going to do it right now.
I show you a document.
I'd like to hear this now.
I'm
We'll
going
deal
to
with
put
this
on the
one next.
record. Mind you, there's
I
no
can go
necessity
on,
for
on,
me
on.
to respond. Respond are the people who are, in your words, attacking L. Ron Hubbard.
I see. It's
I'm
the
a
objective
reporter.
viewpoint of
Thank you.
dialectical materialism.
Thank you very much.
Says,
L.
well,
Ron
let's just let it collide here and see if we get something new.
L. Ron Hubbard, one of America's first nuclear physicists.
What are you quoting from now, Mike?
Famed, I'll show it to you. Famed
All about
author
radiation?
and explorer, exactly, has comprehensively.
It's a short life tape you got there.
It's a film. No. This.
They got to change the films out again. Hang on.
Reverend Jen, could we have copies of that Sullivan's statement?
Yeah, we'd love to have them.
It's in the transcript of the trial. Have you bothered to
But
look
try
at
to
it?
understand. Try to understand. Please,
I
please try to
You
understand.
hate L. Ron Hubbard, you hate Scientology, you hate religion.
None of the above is true.
Did you see that? How he's trying to get, you hate L. Ron Hubbard, you hate Scientology, you hate religion. Just toss that out there to a person who's supposed to be granting you an interview that you agreed to, by the way.
None of the above is true. And I ask you to understand that I am asking you for information, Mr. Cooley for information, just as I ask the others for information. I am not a partisan one way or the other, and I'm sure that you understand that. But just so the people who are watching this film will understand.
They'll get a chance to see it.
Thank you very much. We don't do a commercial for Coke, though.
He wrote all about radiation.
Are we back on?
Film roll 35. Film roll 35. A and B camera marker.
1 point of housekeeping. Garrison had the opportunity to personally interview L. Ron Hubbard, and he refused. Why did he?
Whoa, as soon as it's action, Heber is on.
He refused? Because it would have disproven the things that he was saying against L. Ron Hubbard. He had a chance, Mr. Wallace, which every single person, writer, media that I've ever run into wanted to do the biography of L. Ron Hubbard and have a chance to interview him personally, and he refused. What kind of research is that? That's not research.
So
that's animus, that's bigotry, and that is very, very poor, shoddy form of doing it. Wouldn't you ask to interview Mr. Hubbard?
Mm-hmm.
And if you had interviewed Mr. Hubbard, not that he would, I don't think
You
he
were
really
refused.
finds it.
Garrison had the shot and didn't do it.
Garrison
Very
had the
funny.
shot, and now you use him. And Garrison refused. Why do you think he refused?
I have no idea. Should we?
Neither do I, except I think that
Should
he should hardly be a credible source with all I can kill there.
Should we pay no attention then to anything that Garrison says about Hubbard?
Garrison refused to interview L.
I'm
Ron
asking you,
Hubbard.
should we pay no
You
attention?
should pay no attention to any allegation that isn't documented.
I see.
One of the techniques.
Because he has some very complimentary things to say about L. Ron Hubbard.
Well, good. Then why didn't you come at it from
We'll
that point
listen
of
to
view?
that part.
Let's have the good with the
What did
bad.
he say that was
It
good?
was my intention to do just that, but it's been very difficult to get a word in edgewise,
Good, well,
Mr. Cooley.
only because you're doing the bad. Do the good, we'll be very quiet.
You're in the
That's
church.
so.
You're in
Now-
the church. That's the way it is.
Now then, he wrote a book called All About Radiation.
Yes, he did.
Let me quote to you from, I guess it's the jacket cover.
Here we go.
Did you read the book?
No. Atomic radiation is a subject which interests the mind of every thinking man and woman of this world. In this book, we have the sane and sober views of a medical doctor on the physical facts and consequences of the actual atomic blast and the diseases resulting from it. L. Ron Hubbard, one of America's first nuclear physicists, famed author and explorer, has comprehensively analyzed these facts and related them to human livingness, governments, and the security of the world. These facts, when presented at the Congress on Nuclear Radiation and Health at the Royal Empire Society Hall, London, so impressed parliamentary figures that they requested immediate transcription of these features. Here they are presented to the reader in book form. This, mind you, from the fellow who apparently flunked out.
Is this the jacket?
So it was claimed that this was presented to an official council on parliamentary procedures and whatnot and so forth. Hang on. Now Earl's going to lose the shit.
Yep.
That's the jacket Laurel Sullivan refused to change.
Oh, I see.
That's the jacket that she perpetuated in the edition that came out, I forget whether 79 or 80, in the face of instructions from L. Ron Hubbard that he is not to be described as a nuclear physicist. She let it run.
Well, if
What's
he
the
flunked
date of
out,
this?
if he flunked out on
He never
nuclear-
flunked out.
Well,
he
then-
flunked the course, that's for sure.
Why would he be writing
Right. He flunked. He F.
about it in this learned way? And why would the Congress on Nuclear Radiation and Health of the Royal Empire Society in London, or at the Royal Empire Society Hall in London, so impress parliamentary figures that they, et cetera, et cetera, et
You know that
cetera?
Einstein was considered
He doesn't say if that was true or not.
a dunce? flunked many courses because he could not conform to the way that courses were presented. Einstein was considered a little bit retarded when he was in school, you know,
Really?
because he was so far ahead of his contemporaries. One does not have to have academic.
I'm sorry. He just said that Einstein was. These are the people that Scientology hires, guys.
Credentials to become a philosopher or to become learned in an area. Just a
Mengele
moment.
has a degree.
May I point
He's
this
a
out?
psychiatrist. Mengele has a degree.
Thomas Edison was a dropout. He was considered also retarded. He had no formal education, only the greatest inventor in the history of the world. L. Ron Hubbard, when he took...
Thomas Edison was the Lafayette Ronald of the invention world. He stole most of his inventions from other inventors and claimed them as his own and patented them before they could. Okay?
That nuclear physics course, you got to remember what year it was. It was in the early 30s.
Did he go to Princeton?
Yes, he did. Under the auspices of the Navy, he took a course at Princeton during World War II.
Did he graduate from George Washington University?
He did not graduate.
Okay, that's the end of that.
Basic.
Oh,
But since I'm on YouTube,
Tactical
I have to
Grandma.
play
I
it.
love her. Hang on. My thing is on autoplay. I love Tactical Grandma. So as you guys can see from this footage, it's pretty wild. I made a whole playlist, guys, of all the stuff I'm going to go over. I just want to now what they cut together for 60 minutes, and we're going to be going over the other interviews from that particular episode. Okay, to give you guys an idea. Nope, Nora, I don't want that again. I want the whole list. View poll. There we go. Okay. We also have, where did it go? Where's all my other stuff? I thought I had the actual 10 minutes. Oh, I decided not to keep that. But I'll put a link to that. I'll find it. And yeah, we'll be able to go over that. Paulette Cooper was featured in there, a bunch of other people that they actually interviewed. I might not have all of it together. There was other years that Heber went back. We're going to go over here. I'll show you the list, guys. Let me show you the list so you can get a sneak preview of the adventure we're going to be on here. Okay. So that's the one we just did. We've got Paulette Cooper's interview. We have the Fifth Estate's little mini documentary here. It's 32 minutes. And these are all little interviews here, right? About the Cult Awareness Network. Here's the famous, David Koppel interview with David Miscavige. Here's a little, excuse me. Ugh. Whew, I need to sleep better. Sorry about that, guys. Kendrick Mox in action. And we're going in the Wayback Machine. Here's Frank Oliver. A lot of this stuff comes, of course, from Mark Bunker's channel. We'll be highlighting that. And, of course, the German news peeps. They've got the Stacey Young interview, Jesse Prince. This is another great set of stuff from inside the cult. And then we're going to get a little bit further. We're going to talk about Astra. We're going to pull up High Levy and Hannah. Okay, this is an Australian TV situation. Tommy Davis. We're going to get into Tommy Davis. Now, there's a whole section, and you can see these are more current interviews with Mike and Marty. There's something that I want to go over with you guys just real quick, and we're going to touch on this way in more depth. Okay. Mike and Marty started their blogs a few years apart. Marty's was actually first on July 1st, 2009. Welcome to the new website. This is him. And who's that handsome gentleman? That's Jason Big A. That was his very first post. Okay. His next post is much longer. Miscavige turns flag Mecca into Mecca of technical perversion. He wrote that a few days later. Okay. Mike Rinder, I'll actually do these. His first post is talking about this book. by Mark Headley. It's got a very sexy animation there. Okay. And he started his in November, a few months later. Okay. And then his next post, this was about the news story that she was on, Christy King Colburn and her husband, Chris. They were on like Good Morning America. Notice that this is just before Mike meets her and then makes her his wife. Yeah. Okay. So we're going to go over, because I wanted to go back to the beginning of these things, because you can see here's Amy Scobie's book. There's Mike, and that's his new baby. In 2010. So in November of 2009, March of 2010, he meets Christy. And they have a baby at the end of the year. Yeah. And there's Marty and Mosey and their adorbs little dog. Marty, doing his thing. Oh, Stan Kuhn. It's the guy from the fucking, the movie that we all watched 10 million times. Okay. So we're going to be going over that too. I just wanted to give you guys the info. This is going to be a many-parted thing. Some days will be longer than others. Today was a long day. But what I wanted you guys to get out of today is to see that the actions of the Church of Scientology are exactly the same now as they were 40 years ago. The way that they are, right in the face of anyone who is questioning them. Nothing has changed. Nothing has changed. Except us. The lost generation is rising up. We are fucking rising from the ashes. And we're mad as hell. We're not going to take it anymore. Okay. My friend's book, Jamie, it's coming out at the end of this month. Today is the 9th. It's coming out in 20 days, guys. 20 days. Get your copy. My mods will put a link in there for you guys. I want to end on something fun. There's a creator out there who I absolutely love. Very talented. Who has been, oh God, I hate this stupid thing that comes up every time. Who has been like discussing the Bible. And as you guys know, I did not grow up in Christianity. But this woman, where did you go? Let me find it here. And she's doing a series that's basically called If Women Discovered the Bible in 2025. If women learned about like Jesus, right? All right, I have to rewind this. But this let me move this. I'm trying to make it as big as possible here. Oh, I did that wrong. Don't save that. Delete. Okay. Here we go.
Wait, so let me get this straight, Paul. You've got a Palestinian Jewish wizard god that is the son of a Christian sky god, but is actually not the son, is actually just the Christian sky god, even though Christianity doesn't exist and he's Palestinian and Jewish. And then the Roman government is going to crucify him because he's a political threat, but it's not really about that because the sky god sent the Palestinian Jewish wizard godson to die on the cross, even though that's how everyone dies then. That's against the Roman Empire. But he's dying even though he doesn't have to die because he's a wizard. He could not die, but he's going to die because it's for the sins of the people for all of time that are still going to sin and did sin. But the Palestinian Jewish wizard man, God, son, dies for it. And as long as we believe that the Palestinian Jewish godson died for the Christian sky god, or is the Christian sky god, then it's fine. Then we can sin. It's fine. What are you saying, Paul? And wait, you want me to wear his deathbed around my neck and put it up in my house as like a symbol of my faith to him, Paul? What? Wait, so let me get this straight, Paul. You've got
She cracks me up. There's a whole series that she does on that. But like her explanation of Jesus in that moment is like when Scientologists like what Heber and Earl Cooley were trying to do to Mike Wallace. Let me copy her. Let me copy it. This is her on TikTok. Find her. She's on TikTok, Instagram. It is hilarious. Definitely check her out. She's just, she fucking cracks my shit up. She's having all these conversations about the Bible with Paul, trying to like figure out why he's saying these things. And it is, I love every minute of it. Yeah. So guys, this is going to be, we're going to do a deep dive. We're going to learn a lot of stuff. Oh, and let me get, sorry. Beck Smith, thank you for the super chat. That's wild and unexpected. Let me also get to your, I was just like closing it out. Comments and questions. Here we go. Oh, yes. The Zoom call. Because the event is happening on the 29th, let me look at a calendar here real quick. Calendar. I have to make sure I don't book things when I don't have time. So the 29th is a Tuesday. So I say, I mean, you guys vote. Is it better to do it like on a weekend? So we could do it August 2nd, which is the closest Saturday. Okay. Leave a comment after the live is over on which day of the week you think we should do the Zoom call. Okay. If you want it like Friday, just put the day of the week in the comment so that we can, you know, I'll tally it up. But if weekends are better, we'll do that. We'll do that. There's no majority religion. No religion has more than 50% of the population. Correct. They should call it more like, you know, big brand religion. You know, Scientology is like the fucking dollar store version of religion. I hope so. I mean, you know, if I'm being paid, let's do it. Could almost join for a week to get that kind of money. Yeah, exactly. I would love to. In other news, Pam Bondi is being called out for her ties to Scientology. Finally, the Epstein list not being released and its existence being denied was the catalyst. Yeah. Oh, yeah. This Epstein thing, that is going to be bad. In my synagogue, our congregation was always reaching out to the community to foster interfaith relationships. That's awesome. Yeah, they are acting. They are acting crazy, Sama. They are acting like liars. We changed the government by infiltrating it. Yeah, only Scientology could think that. Yeah, the term is gish galloping. Yes. Hubbard's processing is actually psychological trickery. That is a good. That's a good phrase for that. I like that. Hubbard's psychological trickery dupes you into believing you're having a spiritual experience. Yes, but there is none, as we know, as us learned souls know. Can you imagine doing this in today's time with all the technicalities we have now? Just a bunch of BS. Oh my God, yeah. No. Murray Perlman said, as far as he was concerned, anyone who had read a book was now a Scientologist. Yes. It's cray-cray in Judaism because someone reads the Torah doesn't make him Jewish, right? That's not a requirement. If you're watching, I apologize for that. Oh, Laurel, this is from Professor Kakan. If you're out there in the audience, Professor Kakan apologizes for that incident at the old Gilman house, if you're out there. The only counseling in Scientology is when you go to the so-called chaplain who tells you to just do the same damn ethics the ethics officer already told you to. Yeah, correct. This shows me the way Mike Rinder conducted himself in interviews, etc., was a complete act, and it was an expectation of Scientology. Doesn't make it okay, though. Correct. Yes. Yes. Heber was married to Yvonne. Yes, before Karen, who was the mother of Janice, Terry, and Peter Gillum. Correct. He was later married to Karen de la Carriere, mother of Alex, R.I.P. Yes, thank you. Thank you, Professor Kakan, for tuning into that episode from yesterday. Read your funny comments. Okay, Amy, I will go search in a minute. Let's applaud Pastafarianism, Church of the Flying Spaghetti Monster. Yes. Yeah, and they all pled guilty. All those people, they pled guilty because they didn't even get no fucking vigorous representation. Yeah. Yeah, it's all word salad. Okay, Amy, I'm going to search for your comments here. You were 17 in 1985, especially the La Osa Nostra song. Yes, one of Joe's classics. One of Joe's classics. Let's see here. Yes, this was 60 minutes for your earlier. Deflection, deflection, deflection. Yeah, the face rubbing is a sign. Yes, we need more lawsuits now. 100%. I wouldn't even give them the grace of chutzpah. Okay, like it is. All of it was Darvo. I don't know why Mike Wallace's son can't follow this up. That would be great. Yeah, people who do that to Simon Wiesenthal and try to like put themselves in the same category, please stop. Please stop. I think this had to be like at the current Celebrity Center because that would have been the poshest place in LA for them to do it. But it was definitely somewhere Scientology owned, you know. I don't know if they did it in Gilman or wherever the fuck they were. All right, let me get to questions here. Oh, just question. I'm going to interview Jamie. We have that on the books. I think maybe a couple, but yeah, that guy didn't. I have tried the Pepsi with the real sugar. It still doesn't do it for me. That was 2008, Michelle. Can you imagine David Miscavige doing this? I know he did once, and it was devastating to Scientology. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, no, we had to watch that interview over and over, and it was told to us that he was dominating the interview, and I watched it, and I was like, he looks like a little bitch, baby. Like, in my mind, I couldn't think that. Do they still count ex-Scientologists? Definitely not. Definitely not. Since Heber is MIA, could there be a possibility that he passed away and Scientology is hiding it from the public? That is very possible. How long would they be able to get away with that? You know, if his family, one of his, 1 million brothers, sisters, cousins, whatever, if they've all written him off and they don't give a shit forever, maybe we should go to Utah and hook up with the Secret Lives of Mormon Wives to find Heber's relatives and then see if we can get them to question the Church of Scientology about his whereabouts. And I bet if they knew that he was being held in a hole, they would have something to say about that. Oh, did he do the RPF after this interview? Not immediately. I don't think so. But it's possible that he was on it several times. I don't know. I would have to ask Karen. I would have to ask Karen or Jeff. What's the guy in the blue suit even there for? You saw later. You asked that question early on, Beck. I think you got the answer to that question. All religions are being questioned all the time. Correct. And that's totally okay. Why can't we question the validity of a sky god or the validity of an insane science fiction writer who's getting people to do things, that are not beneficial to them? Why are we not allowed to do that? I don't know when Heber was well, I'll take it back. The last time he was known to have been in public was at Alex's funeral. That was his last public appearance in 2012. I don't know. I cannot speak to that. What's the interview that Jamie had with Jeff? Let me pull that up for you. I will pull that up right now. So the interview was on this channel here. Here we go. That is on, this is Jeffrey Augustine. The Scientology Money Project is his channel. There's a lot of great historical information about Scientology, especially where the money goes, guys, where the money goes. The interview with Jamie that I was talking about is this one right here. Obviously, I was at the end of it. Let me get the link for you here and definitely give that a watch so you can understand a little more of what Scientology does with children, absolutely. Yeah. It's a lot of info, guys. It's a lot of info. So yeah. Yeah. LDS versus Sciento, take my money. Oh my goodness. That's just crazy. Yeah, Heber was born into it. So there you go. He was born into Mormonism. Yeah. He has a bajillion things. So tomorrow for part two, y'all, we're going to be continuing down this line and going into more of these Wayback Machine interviews, because I want you guys to see that Scientology is unchanged. Oh my God. That is really sad. I mean, guys, I don't even know how old he would be right now, but like really old. That is so sad. Yeah. This is wild, guys, but we're going to dive in more. We're going to keep doing this. We're going to keep diving in. We're going to keep showing more and more radical truths here. Only radical truths. I don't want any bogus truths, just radical truths here on my channel. And thank you guys so much for tuning in. Thank you to all of my mods, and welcome to my brand new mod, Gen X Biatch. Thank you guys. I will see you all. Guess where? And please do leave your comment of what day you want to do the Zoom call in the comments after this video. If you're on the replay, I love you too. I'll see you on the flippity dippity. Thank you as always to my mods, for keeping this stream right and tight. Thank you for all of you viewing and the truth that we're constantly trying to bring out here on this channel. Please go see my other videos. Click that link for my link tree, and I'll see you next time on the Flippity Dip.